Week 3 of the Louisiana high school football season already. And for the third time in a row, Acadiana Wreckin Rams, all eyes are on them. Coming to you live from Cougar Stadium here at STM. My name is Cole Gilbo, your play-by-play man. On the side of me, my good friend and broadcast partner, Nick Fotno. Nick, I mean, we've had this one circled all offseason when the schedule came out. I mean, this is a game that hasn't taken place in over a decade. It's two teams that are weirdly familiar with each other for not playing in such a long time. And go ahead and let's talk about how excited, and how anticipated this matchup is.
Yeah, I mean, every off season since the last time they played, it's conversation, right? Everybody's talking about it. Anybody on either side, STM or Acadiana, is just talking about, why aren't they playing? When are y'all going to play again? When are they going to play again? And who knows the reasons why they haven't played? It's probably a lot of stuff that was out of the hands of the players and coaches. I guarantee you those players wanted to play each other. It just didn't happen, but it's finally going to happen tonight. And we all remember what happened the last time. It was a dynamic football game, and hoping for a little bit of the same business this time around.
Yeah, we'll get into that previous football game a little bit later in the pregame show. But both teams come into this one 1-1. STM comes into this one as the number 1 team in the 4A rankings. Acadiana comes in at number 5 in the 5A rankings. Your Wreckin Rams, they did lose to Ruston, of course, 35-27 in week 1 at Ruston, but they were able to bounce back. A big win last week at home against Zachary, 43-28. That was a game that was very tight at halftime, 22-22, and Acadiana just found a way to keep chipping away. Got a couple rushing touchdowns late, a passing touchdown late, and they just found a way to keep Zachary's usually high-powered offense off the field. And, I don't know about you, but for me, to lose to Ruston week 1 by 8, kind of a heartbreaking loss because you had the ball going in and possibly could tie the game late, weren't able to execute and get it done, but you were able to bounce back against the then number 3 team in the state against Zachary, and that just gives you a huge momentum boost coming in against the number 1 team in 4A in STM.
We talked about this tough stretch to start the season, and that Ruston game, they started out behind the 8 ball, right? They were down by 14. And Ruston had the ball, and we started thinking, man, if Ruston scores here, they're going to go down 3 scores. It's going to be a tough hill to climb. Then they get a big special teams play, and they get back into it. And before you know it, Acadiana is right back into it, got some momentum. And then at the end of the game, you got the ball driving with a chance to tie the football game, and it just didn't go your way. But it showed a lot of resolve for the team in that Ruston game, and we had talked about it during that game. 3 consecutive opponents that played for a state championship last year in Ruston and Zachary and STM. And so far you're 1-1, and it would be big to get this win. This is a much different St. Thomas More team than people are used to seeing if you're following high school football or you come to STM games. I mean, we're used to seeing STM fling the ball, right? You got the Holsteins and the Howards, and they're just tossing the ball all over the field. That's not what's going to happen tonight. They only have, I think, 85 yards through the first 2 games, so it's going to be a little bit different. And of course, we know what Acadiana is going to do. They're going to keep the ball on the ground, try to open it up with Caden DeBetta, the 3-year starter. So I mean, it's going to be one of these atmospheres that you hear about sometimes in the lore of high school football. I think it's building right now. You can see, you were talking about it about 10 minutes ago. You're like, man, I thought there were going to be more people here. And in the last 10 minutes, it's really starting to fill up. I don't think there's going to be too many empty seats tonight when STM takes on Acadiana.
Yeah, but it's funny that you talk about the style of offenses that both teams have because, historically, STM likes to fling the ball around. Historically, Acadiana likes to use that ground and pound veer offense. Well, it's kind of shifted over the last couple of years, especially this year. STM's a very run-heavy team, to start this year, and Acadiana is very balanced. Caden DeBetta does have 175 yards passing through the first 2 weeks, and, usually, like you like to talk about, Acadiana back then, you might see 3, maybe 4 passes a game. Now they're no stranger to flinging the ball around. So, that's going to be big, and that's one of my keys to the game. Just how much will Acadiana throw tonight? How much will they actually have to? Because let's talk about it. Jonah Goche has been the absolute workhorse for this offense, and he already has 6 touchdowns through 2 weeks, Nick, and that's pretty incredible considering the opponents that we played so far.
And we knew he would be. I mean, we knew they were going to rely on Jonah. I mean, well, you can say what you want about the new Acadiana offense and throwing the ball, and they will. And Caden DeBetta is super talented. You know my opinions of him. I think he's the best quarterback the school's ever had, and I think that he shows it off with his talent. But we knew they were going to run the football. I mean, they're never going to get away from running the football. Sometimes you look at the running back stable at Acadiana, and you're like, man, they just don't have any guys. They don't. Who's going to be the running back? And then somebody steps up. and they take over the realm of the running back position, and they end up running for a ton of touchdowns. But that's not what happened this year. We knew Jonah Goche was going to have a big year. He had a big year last year. He was part of that four-headed monster that we kept talking about last year, where you just kept those legs fresh and everybody. Jonah is the man now, and he's shown it with his 6 touchdowns through the first 2 games. So while we do talk about a new era of offense and a new style of offense that you're going to see from Acadiana, at their core, they run the football. At the core, it's the veer, and the head coach is still Matt McCullough. And like I always say, Matt's Acadiana through and through. He was the quarterback in this school. The baseball stadium is named after his dad. Like, Matt McCullough's Acadiana, and so at his core, he wants to run that veer. And so you're never going to get away from that. And I think Jonah Goche is a big reason why the veer is successful this year.
And I want to show some love to Tayden Collins as well. We don't call his name as much as Jonah. There is one bell cow usually, but Tayden Collins has filled that second running back spot very, very well. And he's done so last year. He's doing so this year. And I've also been told Parker Bruno, who was out last week, will also be back in that formation of running backs. So Parker Bruno, look for him tonight as we take on the Cougars. Acadiana's veer machine is averaging 35 points per game, which is very impressive, as we talked about when you think about the opponents that we played so far. I talked about it a second ago. Caden DeBetta this year passing 175 and 3 touchdowns through 2 games. Pitbull Goche, though, 365 total rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. That's just ridiculous.
And a lot of it is when he busts through that first initial line, and like you say, kind of busts him out of a chute, right?
He comes out of a chute.
Like, he looks like he's just chugging along, and all of a sudden he's in the end zone. Like, he can really, once he gets into that second level, he turns the gear up and he gets into the end zone.
Wide receivers, of course, you're going to have Russell Babineau, the UL commit, and sophomore wide receiver number 6, the little brother, Colin DeBetta. Speaking of Colin DeBetta, last week against Zachary, 2 receiving touchdowns really helped the effort for Acadiana to get the win over Zachary. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm curious to see how much we have to throw the ball and then how much we'll be willing to throw the ball, especially early in the game.
Well, we saw it in the game plan in Ruston early was to run the ball, and they weren't having much success running the ball. Once they started to open it up and air it out a little bit with DeBetta, they started to have some success against Ruston, and they were behind the 8 ball, like we said. They were already down 14 points, but they started opening up the playbook a little bit and letting Caden show off that arm, and they started having some success and got themselves back in the football game. So I think that's probably going to be the game plan every week, right?
Right.
I think they're going to start running. They want to run. Acadiana wants to run. There's no doubt about it. But then if they don't find success or have an opportunity to hit them over the top, they know they have the talent to do it with Caden DeBetta at quarterback.
Well, every pregame show, I like to give a little credit to the big men that put the veer in gear, and I'll do so right now. Number 52, senior Brody Estes. Number 51, senior Braxton Scriber. Number 71, senior Robert Welch. Number 58, junior Tayshawn Benjamin. Number 50, senior Owen Carpenter. And number 83, senior tight end Jaden Bessard. I mean, that's been the most impressive thing so far for me, Nick. Outside of, your specialty, your quarterback, your wide receivers, your running backs. Those big men have handled themselves extremely well against big teams. I mean, Ruston we talked about it, they were looking like a D1 college program, and Acadiana's offensive line did a really good job of really doing what they wanted on the ground. I mean, in that game, Jonah Goche ran for 3 touchdowns, and so make no mistake about it, it's a very senior class-led team that, like we talked about, a lot of seniors on this Wreckin' Ram team, a lot of returning starters, but it does start with the big men that put the veer in gear. And if they can do that again tonight, and we talked about it, you want those first 3 games, if you can find a way to go 2-1, we already know what we can do in district. The sky would be the limit going through the rest of the season.
I agree with you on the offensive line, and I'll tell you the biggest reason why I doubted the offensive line for just a little bit was because they lost Jackson Hammond last year, who was by far the leader of not only the offensive line but the entire team, and he's now at UL. Right. And also Mike Willis, he's no longer on the program. Those are 2 big losses on that offensive line, and so I was thinking, how are they going to replace those guys? Well, those names that you just rattled off have done a great job through the first 2 games, and you know what? It's my fault for doubting them, because the offensive line is pretty much the running back at Acadiana. They fill them with guys. They find dudes at Acadiana High to get on that line and run the football, and you're right. The veer starts with the offensive line. They did a very good job against Ruston, and then in the Zachary game, you and I caught the second half of that game. They had great push, and they were the reason why Jonah was able to bust through and get a few of those touchdowns. So the offensive line has been very impressive for me through the first 2 games.
Well, let's turn the page, Nick. Let's talk about that terrible Turk defense. I mean, currently averaging, they're giving up 31.5 points allowed so far. But of course, as we mentioned, against two very good teams, you still want to lower that number. We talked about it in week 1, didn't contain the quarterback, too well. Different style offense, obviously, against STM. They're going to be very run heavy. Zachary was a little run heavy last week as well. Very curious to see how they handle STM's offense tonight.
Well, I'll be interested to see if anybody can stop Joshua Brantley, the quarterback from Ruston. I mean, he was very impressive. He's on his way to Tulane, Division I quarterback, and I mean, he was just nice. You had made a comparison during that game to Juwan Johnson, and Juwan Johnson might be a little bit more athletic, but I remember watching that LCA game with Juwan Johnson against Acadiana, and he was just the best athlete on the field. There was no doubt about it. And I think that's what happened in the Ruston game. Joshua Brantley was the best athlete on the field, and that's the reason why, he's a Division I prospect and going to Tulane. But you're right, the defense couldn't contain him. They had trouble with Brantley. I think most teams are going to have trouble with Brantley. I think they're going to have a little bit more success tonight containing those outside runs. During Ruston, we talked about it. The inside was not there for Ruston. Then they started going outside, and they had that success. So I think Acadiana has fixed those problems. Zachary didn't have near as much success busting it outside as Ruston did. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if STM can do that, because from what I hear, STM has a stud running back this year that can move the football, but are they going to be able to get that penetration to be able to get him those yards? So it's going to be a much different look from STM that we're used to, and the Terrible Turks are going to have to be on top of their game.
And a lot of issues that we've also faced in week 1 that we talked a lot about during the broadcast was missed tackles. So Acadiana, slowly is going to have to clean that up, to get where they want to be. But let's talk about the tackle leaders on this team. Acadiana currently led by number 5 junior middle linebacker Gavin Coleman. He leads the team with 15 tackles. Behind him is number 7, the senior defensive back Keeman Thibodeau with 14, and then number 87, the junior big Darius McKinley, like you like to say, the little brother, but he ain't so little.
No, yeah. And I think, we talk about Dominic McKinley, his brother, who's at LSU, the number 1 player in the state last year. Darius has a lot of the tendencies that Dominic does, and I even think he even has a little bit more burst off that first step on the defensive line, and the sky's the limit for him. And so I'm expecting a big season for him, and he's so far been very good. Did you mention Valen Charles yet? Were you getting there?
Valen Charles is actually right behind them with 12 tackles. Valen, in week 1 against Ruston, that's the only name we were saying on defense, because he was all over the place clogging holes. But yes, Valen Charles also in that list of tackle leaders for Acadiana. But sticking with Darius McKinley, he currently also leads the team in sacks. And he had a great week last week against Zachary with some big time sacks. He currently has 4 sacks on the season, and behind him, the number 11 senior linebacker Amari Cooper has 1. Let's turn the page to forcing turnovers. The interception leaders for Acadiana, number 1 senior cornerback Dalen Lewis has 1, and senior defensive back Keeman Thibodeau with 1 as well. And Keeman actually has a forced fumble this year as well. So Acadiana doing a decent job over the first 2 weeks to force those sacks, force those turnovers. But it's a new challenge. You got to step up to the plate against STM.
Yeah, those stats are great, and they're off to a good start. But it does matter in this game, right? They're going to have to stop STM. And so I'm going to be interested to see how they handle this environment. It's going to be a different environment than Acadiana's been in, right? When they play in town, it's against a lesser opponent, and this is not going to be that, right? They're in STM Stadium. It's going to be an electric environment. The sun's already going down, right? It's already starting to feel like a big game environment, and Acadiana needs to just stay, composed and do what they need to do on both sides of the football. But all those stats you rattled off, that's a tribute to the coaching. It's a tribute to these players stepping up and doing a tremendous job. And tonight, if they can do all those things that they've done in the first 2 games, I think they're going to be successful.
Looking down at the field, STM about to come out in their famous entrance. They like to do the smoke show and whatnot. But with that in mind, we'll go ahead and introduce the STM Cougars. As I said, the number 1 team in 4A, currently 1-1. They beat Carencro 21-20 the first week of the season and lost to Catholic Baton Rouge last week 18-14. They are the defending D2 Select State champions, but I want to remind folks, STM's now in D1 Select, so there's a chance Acadiana can run into them a little bit later this year. Of course, they're led by head coach Jim Hightower in his 28th year. He is second in active head coaching wins in the state of Louisiana, behind the famous J.C. Curtis. Again, they're a run-heavy offense. They're going to be led by number 8 junior Cole Bergeron, quarterback. This season, though, only has 84 passing yards through the first 2 weeks. But like we mentioned, they are very run-heavy, and they're led by number 2 senior Gabe Mosick. Last week he had 196 yards and 2 touchdowns, but you'll also see a little bit of number 5, junior Carter Malonsaw tonight as well. They have a stable of wide receivers, senior John Barton, senior Cade Wilkerson, junior Christian Bro, junior Aiken Bond, and senior Jacob Frolic. One tight end is going to be senior Aiden Falgu alongside junior Mason Mouton. The defense for the Cougars, currently giving up 19 points per game. They're going to be led by number 9, senior Brian Broussard. On the young season, 2 weeks in, folks, get this. He already has 5 interceptions through 2 weeks. In the defensive backfield with him is going to be number 1, sophomore Landon Ott, number 43, junior Zach Grazafi, and number 15, sophomore Brennan LeBlanc. At the linebacker positions is going to be led by number 4, senior Nico Blanchard, number 48, senior Asen Oye, number 0, senior Oliver Allen, and number 47, senior Reed Dupuy. They're going to be led up front by number 59, junior Caden Dartez, number 96, junior Austin Pellerin, number 90, senior Andrew Ritz, number 97, senior Andrew Bear, number 57, senior Coleman Inzarella, number 49, junior Connor McAtee, and number 95, senior Brock Arsenault. And like we mentioned, let's get to it. This is the first matchup in 14 years. Acadiana won the 5A semifinals back in 2010, 31-0 on their way to the second state championship in Acadiana's history.
Well, it's funny you mentioned earlier, you said that there's an opportunity for Acadiana to meet STM in the playoffs, which is exactly what happened in that year, right? They had the regular season meeting that didn't go Acadiana's way, and then the final, the playoff game that did. So there's an opportunity to do that. During your introductions, you mentioned Brian Broussard, who has 5 interceptions through the first 2 games. I was talking to Kevin Foote before the game, and we were both like, why is this guy not being recruited, right? Why are not colleges talking about this guy? Because he is a super impressive football player, and I think at the end of it, we'll see Brian Broussard with some offers to play college football.
Well, down on the field, folks, they're doing an opening prayer, moment of silence. So we'll take a quick break, but keep it here. This is Wreckin' Rant Productions on YouTube. Getting close to kickoff here at Cougar Stadium. Week 3 matchup between your Wreckin Rams and the STM Cougars. And I'm going to turn it over to Nick, and we'll give you tonight's starting lineups for the Wreckin Rams.
Starting lineups for Acadiana High. First off, the Veer Machine offense will be led by quarterback senior number 4, Caden Dibetta. Wide receiver senior number 8, Russell Babineau, and sophomore number 6, Colin Dibetta. Running back senior number 9, Tayden Collins. Number 23, senior Jonah Goche. And senior number 22, Parker Bruno. The tight end is number 83, senior Jaden Bassard. On the offensive line, the center is senior number 71, Robert Welch. At guard, the senior number 52, Brody Estes. And senior number 51, Braxton Scriber. Offensive tackles are senior number 70, Cavani Wilson. And number 50, Owen Carpenter. Over to the starting lineup for the Terrible Turk defense. The defensive end will be junior number 87, Darius McKinley, and senior number 99, Jaden Lawrence. The defensive tackles, senior number 54, Valen Charles, and senior number 88, Jaden Carmouche, and junior number 98, Jackson Hiltz. The linebackers, senior number 0, Pop Francis, senior number 3, Keljic Francis, and junior number 5, Gavin Coleman. Get to the secondary, the cornerback, senior number 1, Dalen Lewis, and junior number 13, Tavian Landry. And the safeties, senior number 24, Braylon Noel, and senior number 7, Keeman Thibodeau. Special teams will be the kicker, number 13, Eddie Hernandez, and the punter is number 5, Tyler Martina, who's actually in Raleigh, North Carolina at a baseball tournament, so he will not be the punter. He will also not be the holder. Cole, who's taking his place?
I'm not sure yet.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, we'll find that out shortly.
We will find that out.
I will say, punting-wise, I did see Eddie doing a lot of punting before the game.
Okay.
Holding, though, I'm not sure. But down on the field, your captains for the Wreckin Rams, 0, Pop Francis, number 1, Dalen Lewis, number 8, Russell Babineau, and number 9, Tayden Collins. They're wrapping up the pregame show down here on the field, and we're going to have kickoff shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, week 3 already, and we talk about how quickly the high school football season goes. We're already through this 3-week gauntlet, and I mean, we talked about it earlier. If you could find a way to go 2-1 against 3 of the best teams in the state, you're looking really pretty entering district.
That's right. That's what you wanted. This was 2-1 when it started. I feel like that was a reasonable expectation to go 2-1, and you're 1-1, so you have the opportunity to go 2-1, and I think this is a very winnable game for Acadiana if they do all the things we saw them do in weeks 1 and week 2. I think they're going to be successful and have the opportunity to win this football game tonight.
We're down on the field. The Wreckin Rams are going to be getting the ball to start the game. It looks, let's see who's back there. It looks like Tayden Collins is going to be the return man on the far side. Near side's going to be the sophomore wide receiver, Colin Dibetta. Down on the field doing the kicking for the Cougars is going to be number 33. Let's see if I can get a number here. Don't have a kicker listed as 33, so I don't want to give the wrong number. They actually have a couple of 33s on that roster, and neither one of them are the kickers.
They also have 9 kickers on the roster.
Yeah,
So
not kidding, folks. If I can take a picture of this roster, they have like 7 or 8 kickers listed. Let's see here. That's going to be Jack Cohen. Jack Cohen's going to be doing the kicking tonight for the STM Cougars. And like I said, we are seconds away from kickoff. It's getting loud here at Cougar Stadium, and we're excited to bring you some high school football Wreckin Ram production.
It's a big atmosphere tonight.
Here's the kickoff. It's going to be a sky kick. Brought in at the 15. Going to take it near side. Tries to cut up, and he does. Breaks a tackle. Going to get a return of about 10 or 11 yards, and the Veer Machine's going to start 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line.
We've seen them open up the first 2 games running the football. Very run-heavy to start the game. I would expect the same here tonight, but don't be surprised if they air it out, because they will take advantage of the opportunities that STM is going to present them. But I would expect a heavy dose of the running game to start this one off.
And we've seen it all the time. We talk about wanting to establish that ground game early, and I'm sure it's not going to be any different tonight. Classic Veer Machine offense. Caden Dibetta under center, split back Veer behind him. 1 receiver to each side of the formation. Takes the snap, hands off to the left. Bounces off a tackle. Breaks another one. He's trying to turn the corner on the far side. Breaks another tackle. There he goes. Across the 50. Across the 40. Across the 30, and that's where he be brought out of bounds. A big gain, a gain of about 50, and Jonah Goche on the first carry of the game breaks about 3 tackles and a Wreckin Ram first down.
It looked like he was stuffed behind the line of scrimmage, like he was going to be tackled for a loss, and he busted up that tackle and took it around the side. And once he gets it in that second level, man, it's really hard to bring him down. It's like he's chugging his legs, and he doesn't really look that quick. He breaks the second level, and he just shots out of a chute. That's exactly what happened. Big gain to start the game for the Wreckin' Rams.
1st and 10 Rams, ball at the 28-yard line. 2 receivers to the far side. Takes the snap, hands off near side, trying to turn the corner. That's Tayden Collins. He'll be brought down for a loss of 2. It's going to be 2nd and 12. Ball's going to be at the 30.
I'll tell you another thing that opening play by Goche does. It almost demoralizes the STM defense, right? Because they had you stop. All they heard probably all week is the veer, right? We're going to run it again. We're going to run it again. You won't be able to stop it. They had it stopped. They knew exactly what was coming. They had Jonah in the backfield, and he was able to bust it for that big play.
2nd and 13, ball at the 30. Split back veer, 1 receiver to each side. Takes the snap. It's a trap play up the middle. Jonah Goche breaks through the line. Gets a nice gain right there. Going to be a gain of 7 or 8. Let's call it 3rd, and it looks like 4.
Yeah, I'll never see that trap play and not think of number 22, Ali Broussard. I mean, it is just, that's the Ali Broussard special on that trap play, and Jonah did it right there. Picked up a nice gain after the loss on 1st down, so this is the 3rd and manageable, but that was a nice gain by Jonah.
3rd and a long 4, but we know Matt McCullough, this is 4-down territory. Split back veer, 1 receiver to each side. Hard count, nothing doing. DeBetta looks to the sideline, calls a new play, takes the snap, hands off to the right. Trying to push the pile. They'll get a gain of, let's call it 3. Acadiana's going to be looking at a 4th and 1.
Well, I think that was all about exactly what you said, 4-down territory. Right, it didn't really matter what you got on that 3rd down. Obviously, you would have wanted to get the 1st down, but Acadiana's going for it. There's no doubt.
In 4th and short, you go to the bread and butter right here. I'm going to call it. I think you're going Jonah Goche's way on a right 34 veer. Let's see what happens. Russell Babineau coming off from the sideline, bringing in the play. It's getting loud early here, Nick.
Yeah, it's going to be loud all night, Cole. They're going to have to deal with it.
So there we go, 4th and 1. Takes the snap, hands off to the left. Trying to get across the line to gain, and he does. It's going to be enough for a Wreckin' Ram 1st down. Going to be brought down at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 Rams.
It never looks like they gain as many yards as they do, right? It looked like a 2-yard gain, ends up being a 5-yard gain and a 1st down. But it was 4-down territory the whole time, the whole way, and you knew exactly what was coming in that play. And that's what Acadiana offense is, right? You know it's coming, and it's really difficult to stop. Oh, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer Danny Broussard just walked in the press box.
Coach Danny Broussard. 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 15-yard line. Split back veer, 1 receiver each side. Trap play up the middle. Goche trying to break a tackle. It's going to be a gain of about 11 and another Wreckin' Ram 1st down. 1st and goal.
It looks so much smoother than it did last year, this offense. And it's what we talked about in that first game. The seniors, Goche and DeBetta and those guys in the offensive line, they have a full understanding of this offense now. And the things that were giving them hiccups last year, the mistakes that they were making last year, it's all been cleaned up. And the offense just looks smooth and crisp in week 3. It's very fun to watch.
1 receiver to the near side. That's Carver Swallow. Running backs are behind DeBetta. Handoff to the left. Flags on the play. This one's going to be false start against the Rams. That'll back them up 5. It'll be 1st and goal from about the 9-yard line.
But exactly what we said, exactly what we knew was going to happen. Heavy dose of running the football, not passing it. In the wrestling game, they didn't have success with it, so they kind of went to that pass early. But here you can kind of see Acadiana is having success running the football. I'll be interested to see as this game moves on when they decide to open it up, how much they decide to open it up. Because if you're having this much success running the football, why ever take it off the ground? Passing the football is very risky. Keep it on the ground. You're having success with it.
I'll say this, Nick. I think we're even 4-down territory wherever we are.
Oh, I agree.
Split back there, handoff to the left. That's Goche. They'll give him a gain of about 2 or 3. It's going to be 2nd and goal, ball at the 6.
That's the beauty of this offense is that you can. I mean, he got stuffed and he still gained 2 yards, right? You fall forward for those 2 yards, and you're always on the plus side of the line of scrimmage. You're always gaining yards and gaining yards. It might not be a lot, but man, STM played great defense there, and you still gained 2 yards.
2nd and goal, ball at the 6, 7:45 left to go in this first quarter. Scoreless ball game. DeBetta drops back. He's going to keep it on an option. He's going to lose a hefty. No, they're going to actually only mark him down for a loss of 2. So it's going to be 3rd and goal. Ball's going to be back at about the 8-yard line. I thought he lost more than that on that one, Nick.
He had Jonah. He maybe should have pitched it, but I don't think Jonah was going to gain much. He had a defender right on him. So I kind of see what Caden was thinking there. I think the right play would have been to pitch it, but it wouldn't have gone for a touchdown because the defender was right on him.
Well, honestly, when the play was unfolding, I thought he was dropping back to pass. It looked like the mesh point just got blown up in some kind of way, and it just wasn't a clean option look. But nonetheless, 3rd and goal for the Wreckin' Rams, and like we talked about, I believe this is 4-down territory. Let's see how much we can chunk out of this one right here. 2 receivers near side. Fakes the handoff. Throws a screen to Russell Davenport. Trying to break a tackle. He falls down. Trying to cut it back in the middle of the field. He lost his footing. They'll give him a gain of, let's call it 1 or 2, and Acadiana's going to bring on the field goal unit.
Cole, I think he had 2 lanes to score a touchdown there. If he hits that inside seam, he'd have to make a run for it, but he has the speed to get there. But if he just busts outside, I think he scores also. He had 2 opportunities, and he was choosing that inside seam, and he just slipped and fell. But I really think he had an opportunity to score if he keeps his feet.
Eddie Hernandez, the senior on the kick, holding his, let's see, that's number 15, John Logan Malbrew. Snap is low. Kick is up.
All right, girl.
Kick is good. So a heck of a job by John Logan Malbrew right there, who's not the normal holder. He was able to handle the bounce snap and put it down. Eddie Hernandez drives it through. With 6:10 left to go in your first quarter, the Rams take an early lead, 3-0.
Absolutely. That was a poor snap. So for a kid that's not used to holding, and, we don't know how much he holds. Maybe he holds all the JV kicks. Maybe he's holding, maybe he's held his whole life. We don't know. But as far as varsity games go, he's not used to being in that spot. A poor snap that bounces, he handles it and gets a good field goal. So in high school football, for all those things to work together like that is very impressive. Nice job by the backup holder to get it down, and Eddie just knocks it right through the uprights.
I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's very important to get points on your first drive one way or the other. I mean, you don't want to see it falter out, 1st and goal, but nonetheless, to come away with 3 against a team like STM is going to go a long way early in the ball.
Exactly. And, you're Eddie Hernandez. You're used to having Tyler LaMartina holding that ball. You're off, right? It's not your normal routine. It's not your normal holder, but they executed that great. That was good to see.
So the Rams going to kick off here, and it's going to be Eddie Hernandez again. Kicking deep to number 5. That's going to be Carter Malasaw, the junior running back for the Cougars. Kick is away. It's high and deep. But I do think it's returnable. Going to be brought in at the 2-yard line. Cutting it back across far side. Breaks the tackle. He's across the 20, across the 30, and that's where he's going to be pushed out, and that's where the Cougars will start 1st and 10.
It's no surprise to me, but I think special teams are going to be huge in this game. They were huge in the first 2 games for Acadiana. I think they're going to be big in this game and being able to cover runs like that. Against Ruston, they were using that high little kick, and they weren't having to cover a whole lot. But STM is not going to be doing that, and so you're going to have to cover that play, and on the other side, you're going to have to make some returns.
Quarterback Cole Bergeron going to be in the shotgun, 1 running back on the side of him. 2 receivers to each side of the formation. 2 near side, 1 far side. Takes the snap, drops back, throws near side. Misses the intended receiver. That was number 11, Cooper Centrone, junior wide receiver.
The receivers they're very short. So it's hard to find those short receivers, and I think that's what happened there. You might have thought he was a little closer than he was, and the depth perception might have got off, but that play was really blown up from the beginning.
That was actually intended for senior wide receiver Cade Wilkerson. Well, we're going to have a timeout on the field, and we'll take a timeout here as well. 5:57 left to go in your first quarter. Your Wreckin' Rams lead 3-0. Stick around for more Wreckin' Ram Productions on YouTube. Second and 10 for the Cougars. Cole Bergeron, hard count, and that's going to be infraction against Acadiana. Going to be a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be 2nd and 5. Ball is going to be placed at the 34-yard line.
Pre-snap penalties. McCullough was very upset about the pre-snap penalties against Ruston. He really feels like that's the reason why they lost that game.
Shotgun formation, 2 receivers near side, 1 to the far side. Takes the snap, hands off up the middle. That's Mosig, their beast. He's going to be across the first down marker, and he's still going, folks. Gain of about 9, and let me tell you something, that's an impressive-looking running back that the STM Cougars have.
Yeah, this is the new STM football, right? They're going to run first and pass second, and that's exactly what happened there. And, Acadiana should be used to an offense like this. They might not be running the veer, but they're used to that run first offense.
Shotgun, Cole Bergeron running back on the side of him, 2 receivers near side, 1 far side, takes the snap, 3-step drop looking, throws across the middle, and he throws it over the head of his intended receiver. That was number 7, John Barton, the senior wide receiver for the Cougars.
And Barton kind of had a beat on him, but it was great defense from the Acadiana defender. Was all over him and really didn't have nothing to throw. Wasn't really accurate, so it probably had no chance to be completed. But the receiver, they kind of did have a beat on him right there.
2nd and 10. 2 receivers near side. First receiver goes in motion, handoff up the middle. That's to Mosik, and he's only going to get a gain of about 1, folks. So it's going to be 3rd and long for the Cougars, and that's exactly what you want if you're Matt McCullough.
Pin those ears back and go right at him, because so far the first 2 passes haven't been very crisp. One was way outside over here on the sideline. One was way over his head. So having to force him to throw the ball here is where you want to be.
2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Takes a snap, 3-step drop, looking deep, throws it near side, and it's going to be knocked away. Great coverage right there by the Wreckin Rams, and it's going to be 4th and 9. And let's see what STM opts to do here. Here comes the punt team. That was Keeman Thibodeau on the coverage.
Yeah, and the STM sideline wanted the flag, but they weren't gonna get it. It was just great coverage from Thibodeau. He was right where he needed to be. Great play on the ball. I didn't feel like it should have been a flag. I thought Keeman was right where he needed to be.
Keeman's been that way for the first 2 weeks of the season, and it's been very noticeable. He has been a staple for the Terrible Turks. Snap is good. Kick is up. Kick is away. Going to take a bounce at the 25. He's going to be brought in at the 20. Cuts it across. He's across the 30. This is Russell Babineau. There he goes. Across the 50. He's going to be pushed out just shy of the 40. And Russell Babineau makes another play.
Special teams. It's going to be both ways. Special teams are going to be super important. Babineau got that. And once he had the sideline, he was going to have a big gain. Had one man to beat. Thought he had a chance to beat him. But the STM player made a great play. But Babineau puts the Rams in great field position.
Rams in plus field position. Ball is going to be at the 42-yard line, 1st and 10. And, man, if you can find a way to get in the end zone right here and go up 2 scores early, huge for the Rams. Let's see. 4:55 left to go in the first quarter. Acadiana leading 3-0. 1 receiver to each side of the formation. DeBetta under center. Takes the snap. He's going to hand off on a trap. That's to Goche. Going to get a gain of, let's call it 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Rams.
Fall forward for a nice 3-yard gain there. It's just standard football, right? You just fall forward and get those yards. Nothing special, nothing flashy. That's what Acadiana does. And just like I said, it looks like he's not going to get any yards. And before you know it, he's done gained 3 yards.
2nd and 7, ball at the 39-yard line. 4:30 left to go in the first quarter. 1 receiver to each side of the formation. Takes the snap. Takes the handoff. He's going to have to throw this one away. And I was going to mention it to you before the play, Nick. There were some one-on-one opportunities with these wide receivers, and I was curious to see if Matt McCullough saw what I saw. But nonetheless, Caden DeBetta not able to have a clean pocket to get a throw off, and it's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Wreckin Rams.
And very similar to what just happened with STM. This is not where you want to be if you're Acadiana. 3rd and long, having to throw the football to make a play. They have the athletes to get it done, so let's see what they draw up.
2 receivers to the near side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap, rolls out near side. Turns his shoulders, dumps it off to Parker Bruno. Let's see where they spot him.
He's going to be short.
He will be short of the first down marker. Ball's going to be placed at the 36-yard line, so it's looking like it'll be 4th and 4. Let's see what Matt McCullough wants to do here.
And how does the absence of Tyler Martina tonight affect this decision, right? Obviously, Ty had a great opportunity to go play baseball out of state, but how does it affect right here? You think if Ty's here, do they punt the football? Because it looks like the offense is staying on the field and going for it. You're kind of in no man's land, right? So I don't know if they would have gone for it even if he was here. But
not to give away secrets, this is Matt McCullough's bread and butter. A good hard count right here and a timeout. That's what I expect to happen. 2 receivers far side. No, they snapped this football. Rolling out far side. Trying to get to the first down marker. He's not going to get there. I can hear the coaches, Acadiana's defensive coordinators are sitting next to me. DeBetta had a lane to run to that pylon, and instead he was looking for a man to throw it to. He did have a chance to pull it down and get the first down, though, unfortunately not able to do so, and STM's going to take over right here.
Yeah, and sometimes these quarterbacks get it in their minds that it's selfish to keep it, right? You always want to keep your eyes up. That's what they always hear. You always want to look for that open opportunity. I think that's what Caden was doing. But sometimes it pays to be selfish. You got to go get those yards. I think he had that first down if he tucks and runs.
1st and 10 for the Cougars, ball at the 37. Tight end goes in motion. Here's the snap, handoff up the middle. No gain. So impressive job right there by the front line of the Terrible Turks holding STM's running game so far.
Keep them behind the sticks. Keep them in those long yardages. Don't ever get that down to distance manageable, because the STM running back is explosive and he can make it happen. So you want to try to make him make that decision to pass the football. If you can get him to pass the football, it does appear like the STM's going to struggle to do that effectively tonight.
2 receivers near side. Here's the snap. Drops back, throws near side. It's complete. Got to make a tackle when they do.
Tackle, yeah.
Let's see where they spot him. It's only going to be a gain of, let's call it 4 or 5. Cougars going to be faced with a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and Dalen Lewis was first there, and he couldn't quite bring him down, but it held him up enough to get the help of the rest of the defense to bring him out. So, it would have helped to get that maybe 2 or 3 yards before he was pushed out of bounds. But still, you got about a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 right here. You just gotta bend and not break, if you will.
That was senior Cade Wilkerson on the catch. 3rd and 5. Let's see what the Terrible Turks do here. 2 receivers far side, 1 in the near side. 2 running backs beside Bergeron. Takes the snap. Looking. It's a screen pass right in the middle of the field. Trying to break a tackle. He's going to have just enough for a first down, and that was a good play design. And that's your running back. That's Mosick with another play to move the sticks.
Yeah, it was a great play design. Exactly what you said. That middle of that field just opened up. He was able to make that little short intermediate pass, and he made the first down.
So 1st and 10, ball at the 50. STN swapping some of their personnel off. Carter Malone saw the running back going to come in. 2 running backs on the side of Bergeron, 1 receiver to each side. Takes the snap, hands it off. Running near side, trying to turn the corner, and he does. He's going to be brought down at about the 45. Let's call it the 44. A gain of 6. It's going to be 2nd and 4 for the Cougars.
They're very effective running the football. They've proven that. They're getting big chunks, right? Now you're in front of the sticks, right? You're at 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. This kind of opens up the entire playbook. You can kind of do whatever you want here, and they've been running the football pretty good so far.
2 receivers far side, 1 near side, 2 running backs. 1 running back is going to flare out to the far side. Swing pass is going to be dropped. It's going to be called an incomplete pass, looking for Carter Malonsaw, and it's going to be 3rd and 4. Again, Terrible Turks got to hang tough right here.
Not a great pass, but a pass you got to catch if you're Carter Malonsaw, right? He's gonna want to get that one back right in his hands. You got to bring that in. If he does, he probably gets the first down.
2 receivers far side, 1 running back behind Bergeron. Hard count and looks to the sideline for the play. 1:45 left to go in the first quarter. Hands off near side, trying to find a lane, and he found one right in the middle of the field. He'll be brought down on about the 30-yard line. That's going to be a gain of roughly 15, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
He's as advertised, man. He is explosive. He's patient. Great running back. Great eyes up the field. Finds the hole and hits it well, and kind of has that burst of speed to get across the sticks to get that first down. But so far, the running game for STM has been very impressive.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. 2 receivers to the far side. 1 running back on the side of Bergeron. 3-step drop. Looking. Throws across the middle, and it's complete. Great hit right there. Who is that on the hit right there, Lig? That was number 3, Keldrick Francis. Able to make a quick tackle, but still going to be a gain of 7 or 8. It's going to be 2nd and 2. Ball's going to be at the 23-yard line. 2 receivers far side. 1 running back on the side of Bergeron. He hands it off. Trying to cut it back. Breaks 2 tackles, and there he goes across the middle of the field, and he's in the end zone. There is a flag in the backfield, so let's see what the call is. But if it stands, it's 6 points for the Cougars.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming back. But, I mean, he just shifted and made a move, and Acadiana was nowhere to be found when it came to defending it.
Carter Malonsaw was on the carry, but it is a holding against the Cougars, and lucky for the Rams, that'll back him up. 45 seconds left to go in your first quarter. Acadiana holding on through a 3-0 lead early in this ball game.
The game is moving quickly because both teams are keeping it on the ground, and now STM's had a little bit of success with the pass in the pass game, right? They're completing some passes. They're not going for big gains, but they're going for enough, right? That first down pass was a gain of about 8 yards. So I mean, they're getting big chunks in their passing game, and all those little completions do. It might not be big yardage, but it's giving the quarterback confidence to where he is going to be able to complete passes. His teammates are going to be able to catch balls, and you do that enough, they'll be able to hit you over the top eventually.
So the new spot's going to be at the 33-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 14. One receiver near side, 2 to the far side, and a running back on the side of Bergeron. Wide receiver comes in motion. It's going to be a handoff. Trying to come near side, looking for a lane, cuts it back, and he's not going to find one. Rams do a great job right there. Going to be a gain of 2 or 3. It's going to be 3rd and 11. Again, let's see what the Terrible Turks do on 3rd and long.
Right where you want them, right? And like I said, they have had a little bit of success so far passing the football, but most of the success for the Cougars has been on the ground. So you get that ball in the quarterback's hands and make him make a decision.
2 receivers to the far side, 1 near side, running back on the side of Bergeron. 3rd and 11. Line the gain is the 20. Here's the snap, 3-step drop, looking near side, throws it, but it's way over the head of the intended receiver. And it's going to be 4th and 11 for the Cougars. Let's see what they opt to do here.
Yeah, Bergeron's just not crisp when he's looking down the field. He has that intermediate passing game pretty good. He's finding his receivers pretty good. But when he has to go up the field to throw it, 8, 10 yards up the field, he's just been inaccurate. A little bit off at the one on the sideline earlier in the first quarter, and then 2 of them just sailed a little bit. So if he finds that accuracy, the STM playbook has opened up a little bit, and they're having success, and the receivers are beating the defender. The quarterback just has to get a little bit more effective.
I've also noticed a lot of slipping down on this turf tonight.
Yeah.
Quite a few players. 4th and 11, folks. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. Bergeron on the shotgun, takes the snap, 3-step drop, looking, throws it deep down the field. He's got a one-on-one, but he misses the intended receiver. Let's see who was looking for, John Barton. And the Rams will take over 1st and 10. So a great job by the Terrible Turks to hang tough right there on 4th down.
Yeah, and like I said, the plays are there. Bergeron just has to be a little bit more accurate with his passes. But Cole, we talked about that last year where the offenses were actually calling the right plays, and the receivers were beating Acadiana, and the quarterbacks that we were playing against were not making the plays. And this is very similar to, I remember that Sulphur game. If that quarterback for Sulphur could have found some of those receivers, Acadiana probably loses that game. It's a very similar feel to that. Bergeron starts hitting some of those passes, we could be in trouble.
4 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 2 receivers near side for the Rams. Here's the snap, a handoff up the middle. Going to be a gain of, let's call it 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. Ball will be at the 37-yard line, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter. As Nick mentioned, team's pretty much keeping the ball on the ground, so it's going quick. But your score at the end of 1, Wreckin Rams 3, STM 0. Stick around for more Wreckin Ram productions on YouTube. Welcome back to Cougar Stadium. Second quarter. Rams have the ball 2nd and 8 at the 33-yard line. We forgot to mention it earlier, but my cameraman tonight, my brother-in-law Blaze Malonzo, we definitely want to thank him for coming to do some of the camera work for us while we do the color commentary for you guys.
He doesn't know it, but he's going to have to do it every game.
2nd and 8 for the Rams. 2 receivers far side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap. Handoff's going to come near side. That's the Russell Davenport trying to break a tackle. Cuts it back in the middle of the field. Going to get a gain of 3 or 4. Let's see where they spot him. It'll be 3rd and about 5.
That was all Russell to get those yards because it was snuffed out immediately. STM knew exactly what was coming. They had 3 defenders on the outside. Russell made a great move and was able to get those yards, but there wasn't much else for him to do there.
Let's see what Matt McCullough opts to go here. They're going to call it 3rd and a long 4. Ball is currently at the 37-yard line, and it's getting loud here, folks. Stadium's full tonight. Beautiful night for football. 2 receivers far side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap, trap play to Bruno, breaks the tackle. Let's see if he has enough for the first down, and he does. It's going to be a Wreckin Ram first down. Heck of a run right there by Parker Bruno.
Yeah, that was a nice little run by Bruno. You know, you got Goche getting the bulk of the carries, and Tatum comes in, and Parker really doesn't get that much, right? He doesn't get fed a lot. So when he gets his opportunities, makes the best of them. A nice play for Parker Bruno. Getting him going might be key to Acadiana's success as the year moves on, as Jonah and Tatum's legs start wearing down, right? Parker's going to have to come in and give us some nice runs.
What I've also noticed is that Acadiana has gone to the trap play a lot to start this ball game, so look out for that going forward. 1 receiver each side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap, throws it on a screen to Russell Babineau. Brought in. Let's see if he can turn the corner. He's going to get a gain of maybe 1 looking at 2nd and 9. The pass was actually behind Babineau, so he had to go backwards to catch it, and his momentum it wasn't in his favor. A
little bit better of a pass to kind of lead Russell into what he was going to do. I think he probably has a bigger game, but with him having to go back to catch the ball, he was kind of stuck there, and the defender was right there on him to make the tackle, so not a whole lot of room there for Babineau to work.
You can see that Matt sees those one-on-one opportunities that he has. I mean, STM's been really playing with 1 safety high. Let's see what they do going forward. 2nd and 9. DeBetta takes the snap, handoff up the middle. That's Goche, breaks the tackle, and he's actually dragging a guy. He's going to get a gain of 3. It's going to be 3rd and 6, and behind the 8 ball again in 3rd and medium to 3rd and long opportunities.
Not where you want to be, but a nice effort by Goche. Very seldom does that first contact bring Jonah down, right? He gets hit and he just keeps those legs turning, and he's able to kind of fall forward and get more yards.
3rd and 6, ball at the 46-yard line. 10-10 to play in the 2nd quarter. Acadiana holding on to a 3-0 lead. 2 receivers to the near side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap, it's a toss play near side. That's Bruno trying to turn a corner. He has a lane. He's across the 50. That's where he'll be pushed out. He will be short of the first down marker, but he'll only be short by about 2 yards. So let's see what Matt McCullough wants to do here.
I think Bruno waited just a tick too long to turn it upfield. I think if he kind of busts it up a little sooner, he probably has enough for that first down. But nonetheless, a nice game for Bruno to make the decision a little easier for McCullough to go for it.
Listen, if there's anybody in the state of Louisiana that believes in running the football, it's Matt McCullough. And it looks like this veer machine is going to stay on the field. 4th and 2, ball at the 50, line the gains the 48. They're going to get nice and tight here, 1 receiver to the far side. Hard count, nothing doing. Looks to the sideline, and Acadiana's going to take a timeout. 9:50 left to play in your 2nd quarter. Acadiana holding on to a 3-0 lead. We're going to take a quick timeout with them. But listen, stick around for more Wreckin Ram Productions here on YouTube. Welcome back to Cougar Stadium. Acadiana facing a 4th and 2 from the 50-yard line. Looks like the offense is on the field, and that Cougar defense is asking their fans to get up and get loud. Great camera work right there by Blaze. 1 receiver far side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap, hands off to the left side. That's Goche. Let's see where they spot him. They met him at the line of scrimmage. The Forsyth judge says he has enough for a first down. That's going to be a gain of 3 and a Wreckin Ram first down.
Yeah, I mean, he had probably a football's length enough for the first down, but he got just enough yardage, and the STM players thought they had him, and I mean they stuffed him right at the yard to gain, but Jonah got enough for the first down.
And a credit so far to STM's front line. They have held the running game of Acadiana in check pretty much. And other than the first play of the game where they had that big chunk play, they've done a really good job since then, especially down around the goal line on the first drive. So 1st and 10 for the Rams. 2 receivers far side. Split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap. It's a trap play to Bruno. Breaks the tackle, balls on the ground, and that's going to be a scoop and score. Parker Bruno puts the ball on the ground, scooped up by Brian Broussard. And that's going to be 6 points for the Cougars.
Yeah, and Brian Broussard just has a knack for that football, right? That's his sixth takeaway of the season, and I mean it couldn't have been more perfect. Bruno coughs it up right into Broussard's hands, and he takes it to the house. So that's the moralizer, right? I mean you've basically dominated this football game so far. Now you find yourself down 6-3 with the point after coming. I mean that's just tough. It's going to be mistakes. Penalties and turnovers are going to be the only thing that can stop Acadiana from going really far this year. And right there, you see how a turnover can just be a backbreaker.
6-3 STM pending the extra point. 9:08 left to go in the second quarter. Takes the snap. Kick is up. Kick is good. So 7-0 STM. Stick around. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to Wreckin Ram Productions on YouTube. .908 left to go in the second quarter. STM with the scoop and score right there. They take a 7-3 lead against your Wreckin Rams, but back deep, you have Russell Babineau and Colin DeBetta. And if there's one thing about this Rams team that has been the absolute bright spot, it's the special teams, Nick.
Yeah, no doubt. The special teams has really stepped up in the first 2 games and stepped up tonight and giving you some nice returns.
Here we go. We're going to get a return right here. Brought in at the 15, trying to cut it back near side. Cuts it across the middle of the field, and he's going to get absolutely leveled. But he does bring it back to about the 23-yard line, and that's where the Rams will have it, 1st and 10.
Talking about the turnover on the previous possession for Acadiana, you know, it's been an issue so far in the early season for Parker Bruno. That's his 2nd fumble of the regular season. He fumbled once in the Jamboree. Like, it's got to get cleaned up, especially after you just converted a 4th and 1. You're kind of feeling some momentum. Basically, you're dominating this football game, and now you find yourself down 7-3 on the scoreboard. Like, the turnovers and the penalties are really going to be costly this year, and Acadiana is trying to do something special this year. In order to do that, that stuff has to get cleaned up.
1st and 10 for the Rams. Ball's going to be on the 23-yard line. 9:02 left to go in your first half. 1 receiver each side. Takes the snap, handoff up the middle. Pushing that pile. Still pushing that pile. What a run right there. It's going to be a gain of 11 and a Wreckin Ram first down.
Yeah, the first contact is not going to bring him down. I mean, they're just going to have to gang tackle him because otherwise he's going to get a big gainer. We saw it on that first play of the game. We saw it on the 4th and 1 where he just kind of willed his way to that line to gain, and he did it right there for a first down.
So 1st and 10 for the Rams. Ball's at the 34-yard line. 1 receiver to each side of the formation. DeBetta takes a snap, hands off to the right. Going to get a gain of, let's call it 3. Acadiana's going to be looking at a 2nd and 7.
Their game plan is definitely to keep it on the ground. I mean, they're not looking to throw the ball if they don't have to. And honestly, it's a wise move. It's been working. The running the football has been working. Aside from the turnover, you're really gaining big chunks and moving the football down the field. So that was Tatum Collins right there getting a nice run. I mean, if you can switch it up with the running backs and keep them fresh, continue to gain positive yards.
2nd and 7, 1 receiver to each side of the formation. Takes the snap, hands off. Going to get another gain of 3. Acadiana's going to be looking at a 3rd and 5, maybe a 3rd and 6 here.
3 and 3 and 3 gets you where you want to be. I mean, if you just keep getting those chunks right there, you move the sticks and get a first down. Right now, 3 and 3 is 9. You got to get 10. So you want to get a little bit more on this right here on this third down. If they keep it on the ground, you got to get at least 4.
They're going to call it 3rd and a long 4. Ball's currently placed at the 40-yard line. Line to gain is the 44. 7:30 left to go in your first half. STM leads 7-3. One receiver each side. DeBetta under center. Takes the snap. Handoff up the middle. It was a trap play, but he gets absolutely nothing.
And Cole, you talked about it on that previous possession. Great penetration from the STM defensive line. They've really kind of stuffed that inside play. You know, they'll allow Acadiana to get to 3 and 3, but they're not going to let them get much more. And right there, they were able to penetrate and stop them for either a sharp gain or no gain at all.
Acadiana's going to bring on the punting unit. As we mentioned tonight, Ty Lamartina is on a baseball trip in North Carolina, so it's going to be Eddie Hernandez, who's normally the place kicker. He's going to be doing the punting tonight also. And I'll be honest with you, Nick, I saw him punting a couple before the game, and he was doing pretty well. So let's see how he does right here.
Might have some Russell Erxleben in him if he can do both.
Snap is good. It's blocked. It takes a Cougar bounce. Flags on the field back where Eddie Hernandez was.
Well, if it's roughing the kicker, it's not gonna count because of the tip. You know, if you tip it, then you don't get that call, and that's what you see the STM coaches are doing that. But Cole, nonetheless, I mean, special teams are gonna affect this game. We've been saying it the entire game long. We said it to start the season, right? Good and bad. Special teams is gonna affect this game, and right there, you saw a big special teams play. It's going to affect this football game.
Yeah, waiting for the call on the field. I can't imagine that ball wasn't tipped. I mean, the way it came off his foot, it went straight up in the air. And the Cougars seem pretty confident that this is going to be ruled a tip ball. But I'm curious because this is early in the game, it's a game-changing, call. So,
yeah, I did. So I didn't see the roughing. I was more following the football.
Let's see what the call is. They're going to call roughing the kicker, Nick, and that's going to be a first down for the Rams.
Yeah, sometimes we get into these situations where the rules are different from the football that we're used to seeing, right? We're used to watching college football on Saturdays and the NFL on Sundays, and a lot of high school rules are a little bit different. So perhaps this is one of those situations where the rule is different. But, I mean, the STM player definitely got a piece of that football, and they're going to get roughing the kicker, so we'll take it.
Listen, and I'm as big as an Acadiana guy as there is, and I'm going to be honest with you, that ball – there's no way it comes off his foot like that. I believe it was tipped. You obviously said you believed it was tipped. But listen, you get breaks sometimes, and Acadiana's got to take advantage of this break because the offense has stalled out so far on this drive.
Now, Cole, I'm not certain that it's a first down. Or the referee
it was 4th and 4, so okay. It should be a first down.
Okay. But you know how those spot fouls are, right? In high school, you get a spot foul. They mark off the 15 yards from the spot, but they are marking off the touchdown. I think there was also a second flag for a sideline violation.
Okay.
And they got STN there. So, in that first one, it's a warning. But the referee did kind of pick it up and then kind of threw it back down for that. So, nonetheless, Acadiana gets a big break right here. Now they're across midfield.
1st and 10, ball at the 44. 6:30 left to go in the first half. One receiver to each side of the formation. DeBetta under center. Takes the snap. He's going to hand off to Tayden Collins on a sweep far side. Pretty good run right there. Going to be a gain of 6 or 7. And I tell you what, Tayden Collins, he's got a couple of touches tonight. He's doing his job.
Yeah, every time he gets the ball, another flag. Looks like another personal foul. But, yeah, nice run from Collins going to the outside. We'll see what that flag is.
STM's players are pointing that it's against the Acadiana.
The Acadiana players,
to see.
They look dejected.
8 yards for 9.
Sideline warning against the Rams, and then you got a personal foul against the Rams on top of that. And, Nick, we're talking about shooting yourself in the foot. It just can't happen.
Yeah, you get that big gain on first down. You got the break on the penalty. You're across midfield, and now you just lost it all, right? You lost the gain. You're now across midfield. You're on your side of the football field. It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. That can't happen. You got to take advantage of all these situations. It's going to be a tight game. It doesn't matter how you're feeling about yourself or how much success you're having. You're losing this football game right now. You're down 7-3. You cannot keep shooting yourself in the foot. And with turnovers and penalties, that's what Acadiana is doing right now.
So let's see where they spot it. It's going to be 1st and 17. Ball is at the 49. Two receivers near side. DeBetta throws a screen to his brother Colin. Trying to find a corner. He's across the 50. He's going to be brought down at about the 45, maybe the 46-yard line. So they're able to get about 5 on that. It'll be 2nd and 11. Ball will be at the 45.
Well, it seemed like that ball was in the air forever. It took forever for that ball to get to DeBetta, and once he got it, he made a good yardage. But, man, it could have had a little bit more zip on that pass. I feel like Collie could have got more yards.
The stick on the far side says 3rd down, Nick, but I'm fairly certain this is a 2nd down play, especially because there was a personal foul on the 1st down play.
Well, they didn't reset it, so it might have been a dead ball play,
okay.
And so they lose the down there. But nonetheless, that's a hydration timeout, Cole.
So it'll be a hydration timeout. 6 minutes left to go in your half. STM holding a 7-3 lead. Stick around for more Wreckin' Ram Productions here on YouTube. Welcome back. Rams face a 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. Ball at the 45-yard line. DeBetta takes the snap. It's a trap play to Collins. He'll only get a gain of 1, maybe 2, and it'll be, well, they're going to call it 1. It's going to be 4th and 10 for the Rams. And I'm going to be honest, Nick, I don't exactly understand the call. They ran the trap a couple of times tonight, but nothing that showed me that you can get, big gain on that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they should have thrown it right there, but I think there was a better play call to get more yards there to give yourself a chance on 4th down. Now you're 4th and long. This is a really difficult ask for the offense to pick this up. If you're sitting there at 4th and 5 or 4th and 6, that's a little manageable. Now you're at 4th and 9. They're really going to have to be perfect to get this.
I'm pretty surprised to see the Rams try to go for this 4th and long. Two receivers to the far side. Takes the snap. DeBetta dropping back, looking deep. Throws. No, he breaks a tackle and he's coming near side. Still looking downfield, but he's not able to complete it to his brother, Colin DeBetta. And the Cougar defense is going to hold tough and force Acadiana to turn it over on downs.
Man, that play just looked like it was going to be completely busted. Caden made a nice little move and made something out of nothing. I feel like if he runs it up the field, he's not going to have enough for the 1st down. They're going to stop him, so tries to make something happen. But a turnover on downs, and I'll tell you what, you can't continue to give STM these opportunities, give them the momentum. You're already down on the scoreboard, and now you're talking about a game that you're pretty much having your way with, and you're not finding it on the scoreboard, and now STM's really feeling it.
Terrible Turks got to hang tough here before halftime. Two receivers, far side, 1 near side. Bergeron takes the snap and hands it off. That's Malonson looking to turn the corner, breaks 1 tackle and pushes the pile. He'd be pushed out at about the 45, maybe the 46-yard line. Going to be a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Over pursuit by the first defender, and the second defender couldn't quite get that first tackle. Man, those broken tackles are really costing Acadiana. That could have been a gain of 1, turned into a gain of 4. You just got to be able to make that first tackle.
2nd and 7, ball at the 46. Takes the snap. It's a handoff again. That's Malonson up the middle. Man, I tell you what, that's a strong kid, but he gets stoned for only a gain of, let's call it 2. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for the Cougars.
Yeah, he's little, right? He's not very big, but when he meets up those big defenders, he's taking them head-to-head and really pushing them and really getting big yards. So, yeah, Malonson doesn't look like a whole lot, but, boy, he's packing a big punch.
3rd and 5 for the Cougars. 2 receivers, far side, 1 near side. Quarterback takes the snap, drops back, looking far side, throws it. It's complete, but a great tackle right there by Braylon Noel is going to make him short of the stick. It's going to be 4th and 2.
Yeah, wonderful tackle by Noel. I mean, he just kind of was right on him and made the play, and they're going in the hurry-up offense.
They're going to call it 4th and 1, and they're going quick. They're going quick. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Bergeron the shotgun. 4th and 1. I expect to see a run here. Here's the snap, handoff up the middle, and there's nothing! The terrible Turks! The coaches on the side of us are thrilled, and that's because that defensive line showed up right there, and Acadiana forces a turnover on down. What a heck of a job.
Big penetration and a big moment in the game, right? All the momentum's on STM side. They just turned you over on downs. They're going for it on fourth down. Great play from the defense to get the ball back, and now you're right at midfield. You have to take advantage, right? You got 4 minutes to go in this half, down 7-3. They have to put it in the end zone, Cole. You have to pay off the defense here. They got you the ball back. Execute the plays. The running game's working. Maybe something opens up on the outside and you can get a nice pass play, but you have to get a touchdown here to take advantage of this.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nick, and I know we haven't really done much. I expect to see a shot very soon. 2 receivers far side. The better under center takes a snap, option play near side, keeps it himself, tries to cut it back up the middle, and he actually has a little success. He's going to get a gain of 3, and it's going to be 2nd and 7. And I mean, you saw it. It looked like he wasn't going to get anything right there, but he squirted himself to just get enough.
But boy, that St. Thomas More defensive line has really came to play tonight. They have stepped up. They're not giving Acadiana a whole lot. If something happens, it's off of a broken tackle, and plays like when Jonas busted it off those broken tackles. But STM has really done a good job of kind of keeping that veer in check.
2nd and 7, ball at the 47. 3:30 left to go in the first half. STM holding a 7-3 lead. 1 receiver each side takes the snap. It's a handoff up the middle. Pushing. They'll call it a gain of 2. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for the Rams, and we've seen this a lot tonight, Nick. A lot of 3rd and mediums.
Yep, the 3rd and mediums are really plaguing the Rams right now, right? Because you want to be where you only need that 3 yards. When you need that extra yards, right, it kind of takes a few of those plays away because you're probably going to get 2 or 3 with the veer offense on every play. When you need 5, you got to kind of open it up a little bit, and that's not where their bread is buttered so far.
3rd and 5 for the Rams, 1 receiver to each side. The better under center takes the snap, handoff to Goche, cuts across, and he does have enough. He's right at the stick. Let's see if they give it to him. He got a gain of 5 right at the marker. It all depends, and they're going to move the sticks.
Yeah, right at the marker. Great run from Goche. I mean, he had it the whole way. He busted right through it. There was nobody to stop him. He didn't have to break a tackle. He just went right through the line and got exactly what he needed to gain for the first down.
The pit bull, Jonah Goche, as I like to say, he got that dog in him, and he had just enough for a first down. So 1st and 10 for the Rams. Ball's at the 40-yard line. 2:30 left to go in the half. 1 receiver to each side. The better under center takes the snap, a handoff up the middle again. That's going to be Taden Collins for a gain of 5. A good run right there by TC.
Stay in front of the sticks, right? Now you're at 2nd and 5. Now you pretty much have the entire playbook is open for you to do right here. Might be time to do something big right here.
I told you early in the drive I expect to see a shot, and this is the time to do it. 2nd and 5. Handoff up the middle. That's Jonah Goche again. This time he's going to be just short of the marker. Going to be a gain of 4. It's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Rams, but I expect to see him get the ball again right here and move the sticks.
Yeah,
let's see.
Yeah, these running plays are getting you where you need to go. You're moving it effectively. Eventually it's going to set it up for the pass, but right now you just got to get that first down.
3rd and 1. Ball at the 31. Line to gains the 30. 1 receiver each side to better under center. Takes the snap, handoff to Goche. Pushing, and he has enough for another Wreckin Ram first down.
There you go. Just keep giving it to Goche on this drive, and he's getting you what you need. But now you're looking at the clock, right? You got a minute and a half. I think Acadiana has 2 timeouts left, so the clock is really not against you here. You have your timeouts. You can take your time and really run whatever you want here. But eventually, you're going to have to pick up this 29 yards and get in that end zone. You do not want to end this drive with 3 points.
2 receivers to the far side. It's going to be Babineau and DeBetta. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolling near side is DeBetta, looking. He's going to keep it himself across the 30, across the 25, and he's going to run out at about the 23-yard line. I believe I saw the ref throw a flag there, and it is. It's going to be a holding call against Acadiana.
Yeah, I didn't see it, obviously, but we're good. Credit to the STM defense. I mean, they're obviously a well-coached team. They're always on top of it, and that play right there was available for you in Ruston, and it was available for you in Zachary, and they went right to it, and STM had it covered. The secondary was on top of it. No receivers were open. The defensive line was doing its job. So I've been very impressed thus far with this Cougar defense to be able to keep the veer in check. You know it's coming, and you can't stop it. Well, STM's had an answer for it tonight.
So after the penalty, it'll be 1st and 13, ball at the 32. Line to gain is going to be the 19. 1 minute left to go here in the first half. STM holding a 7-3 lead. One receiver to each side. DeBetta under center. Takes the snap. Handoffs to Goche. Across the middle. Breaks a tackle. And that was a strong run right there. Going to be a gain of, close to 10. And another great run by the Pitbull.
Cole, we saw it in the Ruston game. He decided to put the team on his back and do whatever he needed to do to give him a chance to win the football game. And it looks like that's exactly what he's doing right now to end the first half.
45 seconds left to go. Acadiana is going to burn one of their 2 timeouts. We're going to take a quick timeout with them. Stick around for more Wreckin' Ram Productions here on YouTube. Second and 4 for the Rams. Ball at the 23-yard line. 53 seconds left to go in the half. 2 receivers to the near side. DeBetta takes the snap. Options far side, and there's nobody there. Turns the corner across the 20, 15, 10, 5. Pushed out just shy of the marker, but a great job right there by DeBetta. Big time gain. It's going to be first and goal, ball at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, he was very patient in watching that develop, very patient in seeing what was going on. And as soon as he saw it, he hit it up the middle and did exactly what he needed to do. It was perfect timing on when to go up the field, and it was a great play from DeBetta.
I don't know. I mean, and a credit to Matt and the crew down there for Acadiana. There was nobody on the defense on the opposite side for the Cougars, and they took full advantage of that.
Yes.
So first and goal, ball at the 4. 45 seconds left to go in the half, and it would be huge if Acadiana could put 6 on the scoreboard. Handoff. Up the middle is Goche. Pushing it. Pushing.
He's in.
And he's in. Touchdown, Jonah Goche, the Pitbull, with his 7th touchdown of the year. And I'm going to give an assist to the quarterback on that one who pushed a pile. What a heck of some awareness from Caden DeBetta.
That's exactly who you wanted to give the ball to, though, when you're in that position, right? You don't want to give the ball to anybody else but Jonah Goche. He's proven it so far this year. He's going to get you those tough yards. He's going to push defenders if he needs to. He's going to keep churning his legs. He's going to do whatever he has to do to get those yards. That's exactly what he did, and he gets it in the end zone for 6.
Eddie Hernandez to kick, Maldo to hold. Snap is good. Kick is up. And the kick is good. So with 40 seconds left to go in the first half, the Rams retake the lead 10-7. We'll go ahead and keep it here. But, Nick, how big is that touchdown going into half?
You have to have it. I mean, there's no way you could settle for 3 or 0, which is what was going to happen, right? It was going to be 7 or nothing. Right? It was going to be 4-down territory. They weren't going to kick the football. So you had to get it in there. There's no way you could get the momentum that they had to end the first half and not get points. So they get a touchdown. They take the lead. In my opinion, you dominated the game, right? They had the turnover, the scoop and score by Brian Broussard for STM that got a touchdown. But other than that, STM has really done nothing offensively. They haven't been able to move the football, so you're dominating the game, but yet you're down 7-3. So that touchdown was huge.
So let me ask you this, sticking with STM's offense, do you expect them with 40 seconds left to try to push anything down the field, or are you okay going into half 10-7 and you get the ball to start the second half?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really had that much success throwing the football, especially down the field, especially when they need those big chunks. Bergeron has just been a little bit off, right? It hasn't been as crisp. He hasn't been as accurate as you want him to be. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. They may take some chances, maybe at least on first down, but I think they would be okay going in down 10-7.
Carter Melanson back there, and we've seen it in the first half. He's electric. Let's see what Eddie Hernandez does. He boots it really deep. How about that, Nick? Out the back of the end zone. What a kick right there by Eddie Hernandez.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the difference that Hernandez has shown from last year to this year is unbelievable. I mean, you can tell he worked this offseason to get better because he did not have the type of leg that he had. He did not have the type of accuracy on the field goals. I mean, he's a weapon right now, and putting him in the end zone like that is going to prove to be very effective. It's part of the special teams. Special teams is going to be a big reason why Acadiana is successful this year.
So let's reset here. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Ball's going to be placed at the 20 with 40 seconds left to go in the first half. Acadiana leading 10-7. And let's see what STM opts to do here. They're going to have 2 receivers to the far side, 1 near side, and 1 running back on the side of Bergeron in the shotgun. Takes the snap, and the ball's on the ground! Picked back up, though, by the running back. Man! That could have been a quick recovery, and Acadiana would have gave themselves at least one more shot to do something. But nonetheless, it's going to be recovered by the running back for STM. Ball is going to be spotted. They're going to call it a gain of 1. It's going to be 2nd and 9.
Cool. I'm very surprised that STM is still playing offense right now.
Drop back to pass. 5-step drop. Still looking. Throws it down the field. There's a one-on-one opportunity, and a great job by Dalen Lewis. Dalen Lewis on the coverage. And I tell you what, Nick, we've called his name, Keeman Thibodeau's name, Braylon Noel's name, and I want to take a second. There's an injury down on the field, and that was the intended receiver, John Barton, who's been very active tonight. It's going to be 3rd and 9, but John Barton is down in the defensive backfield.
But I'll tell you what, that play by Dalen Lewis, I mean, Dalen could have very easily tried to make that interception, but that wasn't the right play. The right play was to do exactly what he did. Bat that ball down, kind of reach around and just knock it down to the ground. Exactly what he needed to do. I thought he was going to go for it, and in my brain I'm thinking, don't go for it, because if you do, you might whiff on it, and it'll be a big play. But he didn't do that. Very smart play by Dalen Lewis.
It was a cramp on the field, so luckily no serious injury. He's gonna go ahead and limp off, but it's gonna be 3rd and 9. Ball at the 21-yard line. 12 seconds to go in the half. Acadiana holding that 10-7 lead.
And Cole, with the way this is going, I'm just surprised STM's not taking a knee and going.
I'm expecting a handoff right here, Nick. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Snap, handoff, up the middle, looking for a seam. He gets a couple of yards, maybe a gain of, let's call it 5. It's going to be 4th and 4, and I think Matt McCullough's going to burn his last time out with 2 seconds left. So Matt McCullough, listen, we talked about it. Special teams for the Rams has been fantastic to start the season. We've seen them block a punt against Ruston and nearly score. I think that's in the back of Matt McCullough's mind right now. Why not go ahead and force them to punt this ball and see what your special teams can do?
After the first down play was almost a disaster for the Cougars, I'm very surprised they decided to run those 2nd and 3rd down plays. And look, great timeout for Matt McCullough and just giving the Wreckin Rams a chance to make something happen here. There's 5 seconds on the clock right now. I mean, if they block the punt, they could really change the game right here. So I'm just very surprised that after the first play was fumbled, that the Cougars are just like, you know what, we'll take some knees and get out of here. But now Acadiana has an opportunity to do something. Like you said, we saw them block a punt. If they make something happen here, I mean, that just turns the game around.
And I'm kind of with you. I had the same mindset. After the first snap was fumbled and nearly turned over, and with the clock running, it's not like they took a timeout. I was fully expecting them to shut it down. You just shut it down, you go to the half. Because as I mentioned, STM's going to be getting the ball to start the second half. But nonetheless, let's reset here. It's going to be 4th and 3. Ball's at the 27, and there's 5 seconds left on the clock. And I just have to laugh, Nick. If this thing finds a way to get blocked, or if you are brave enough to kick it deep to Russell Babineau, you're kind of looking at a lose-lose unless you just punt this thing 90 yards out of bounds. Snap. Kick. And Russell's not going to have a play on it. So the clock's going to run out on the bounce. Takes a Cougar bounce, not like it'll matter. And that's going to be the end of your first half. Storyline of the first half is defense. Terrible Terps have done a really good job, but so has STM's. Acadiana's going to take a 10-7 lead into halftime. Stick around. We'll be back with a little bit of a halftime show for you. You're listening to Cole Gilbo and Nick Fontenot on Wreckin Ram Productions. Welcome back to Wreckin Rant Productions here on YouTube. A little bit of a halftime show for you. Again, your play-by-play man, Cole Gilbo. On the side of me, my good friend and broadcast partner, Nick Fodno. Nick, a defensive first half for both teams. I mean, 10-7. Acadiana holds that lead, but STM's going to be getting the ball here. Other than the scoop and score, offense is not really doing much right now. Acadiana was able to steal a touchdown late before the halftime, and you just got to hang your hat right now that both teams are playing some stellar defense.
Yeah, I was very impressed with STM's defense, right, and their ability to not let Acadiana get very much on those plays. Aside from that one busted play early in the first quarter from Goche, and then that drive in the last play where King kind of busted it outside on the option and got a big gainer. Otherwise, it's been 3, 4 yards, just kind of in the middle, and STM's really done a good job of knowing what was coming. Aside from the scoop and score, I mean, it has just been a dominant performance from Acadiana on both sides of the football. Not a whole lot happening for STM offensively. The quarterback, I forget his name.
Cole
Bergeron is his name. He's struggling, right? He's been struggling to be accurate on those passes, especially the long passes when they're asking him to make those long throws. Historically, that's where St. Thomas More has made their money on the long pass. With the quarterbacks that were very accurate and able to move the ball in big chunks down the field. That's not the STM offense anymore. They're running the football and they're doing it effectively, but they haven't really been able to get much going. So nice job by both defenses. Really, in Acadiana, like I've been saying, I feel like they're dominating this football game, but the score is only 10-7. So it'll be nice to kind of open it up in the second half, maybe get one more score and kind of feel comfortable, because right now you're neck and neck with a team that really hasn't done much offensively.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about in the first half, or before the game, really, how much would Acadiana throw and how much would they need to throw. I mean, we're sitting here talking about maybe you got to open it up a little bit because, Acadiana's kind of ran it up the middle for most of the night. You haven't really seen them try to bounce it outside too much or try to roll out, the beta. So very interested to see just how much, Matt McCullough leans on that passing game going forward tonight. But let me ask you, I mean, do you expect to see these offenses wake up a little bit, or do you expect to see a little bit more of the same in the second half, meaning that the defenses are just going to continue to dominate this game?
I wouldn't expect to see much different than what we saw in the first half. I mean, STM, when they throw the football, they're not effective. I mean, they're not able to move the ball when they pass it. So I would expect them to run it. That's what they're having success with. And Acadiana, while we know that they have the ability to do that and they have the players and the talent to get it done, that they're being effective running the football too. And if Matt McCullough doesn't have to put the ball in the air, he's not going to do it. So, I mean, maybe they air it out a little bit, but I don't expect to see a whole lot of explosives. I mean, we're at 8-17, and we're about to kick off the second half in about 5 minutes. I mean, this game is moving, and that's because both teams are keeping it on the ground. So I'd expect to see a lot of the same, unless one of these teams gets down by 2 or 3 scores and they have to throw the ball to try to get back in this game. I'd expect to see a lot of ground game in the second half, similar to what we saw in the first.
Yeah, we just want to remind the fans at home the 7 points on the board right now for the STM Cougars was the scoop and score. Unfortunately, Parker Bruno, the running back for the Rams, dropped the football and they were able to take it to the house. But that's just a credit to the Terrible Turks and how well they've played against the number 1 ranked 4A team in the state of Louisiana. I mean, defensively, you held them to 0 in the first half at their house. I mean, that's incredible.
I mean, the STM offense hasn't scored on Acadiana's defense in 14 years.
For those
Cole, that's your joke.
I told you, the joke was, the offense has not scored on them in 14 years. And that's because, for those of you who do not know, this is the first time that STM and Acadiana has played since the 2010 season when Acadiana played over here in the 5A semifinals and beat STM 31-0 on their way to their second school state championship. So it's been a minute, but like I said, it doesn't feel like that long. These two teams are very familiar with each other. I mean, you're right down the road from each other, of course, but 14 years, it just doesn't feel that long. It feels, I don't know, it feels like there's some similarity. And it's because, 14, 15 years ago, that rivalry was so strong up to that point. I mean, personally, the last time we played, I was a junior here. I was a junior on that football team, and I was very sad to see that went away for so long. These are two teams that should be playing each other every year, if not every other year at the most. I mean, they're just too good not to play that often.
Well, you'd always hear the back and forth, right? Oh, y'all are scared to play us, or STM's scared to play Acadiana. Acadiana's scared to play STM. I don't think that was ever the case. I don't think either team was ever scared. I just think sometimes it's politics or whatever you want to call it. It's out of the players' hands. It's out of the people that really care about his hands. You know, the coaches would have loved to play each other, and the players would have loved to play each other as well. It didn't work out for whatever reason, and it's finally getting back together. So hopefully it can be somewhat of a regular basis that these two teams are playing each other, because they are the two most successful teams in our parish. They're perennially making runs to the Superdome. Both of these teams were in the Superdome last year. One of them, STM, came out with a state championship, and Acadiana is looking to make a return trip this year. So when you got these two powerhouse teams in the same area, 6 miles down the road, you got to play more than once every 14 years. And so with the turnout that this crowd is given on both sides. I mean, STM's packed. You look across the street at the visiting side, the Acadiana team, of course, travels very well no matter where they go. And 6 miles down the road, you knew they were going to be packed. So, you know, it just brought in a lot of people into this stadium, and a lot of excitement for this football game. So I think that you'll be able to repeat this and have it more often. Neither one of these teams is scared of the other one, and we're having to. I mean, look at the scoreboard. It's 10-7. So regardless of who might be down, which program might be up, who's better, whatever, these two teams are going to play tough, and you're seeing it right now in this game.
And just to go back to it, Nick, if you would have asked me before the game whether I thought this game would be an offensive or defensive battle, I would have said offenses. I mean, you know, these two teams are known for their offenses. So very surprised to see what has unfolded in the first half. And I agree with you. You said that you expect more of the same in the second half, and I expect the same, because I do believe that these two teams are just fairly evenly matched, and it's just going to continue to be a defensive struggle, which some people like that. You know, you got to grind out your wins, and if either one of these teams can come away tonight with the victory, I mean, that's a very impressive feather in your cap. And, you know, we're getting close to second half kickoff. Just a reminder, STM will be receiving the second half kick. And next week, Nick, we're going to be Thursday night at Acadiana. You're going to be getting an undefeated Nish team early in the season. But just a reminder to the folks at home, it will be a Thursday night matchup at Bill Dotson Stadium.
Yeah, New Iberia's been down for, I mean, almost a decade you're looking at, right? They never really have a good competitive football team in a long time. They're undefeated so far, 2-0 this year. They're playing Como, so in theory, probably 3-0. I mean, Como hasn't won a game in 3 years, so we'll see what that game's going to be about.
Looking down on the field, and we're just ready. We're just waiting for the teams to take the field, and here comes the Cougars. Again, Acadiana's going to be kicking off to start the second half. Acadiana's going to be holding that 10-7 lead.
It's very important to get this win tonight, Cole, because once you get into district play, you start playing those opponents that they're not as good as you are, right? And so if those wins you don't really feel good about them. You just feel like that's what you're supposed to do. This is a team that's kind of on your level, and you expect it to be a very competitive football game that could go either way.
And look, the great Kevin Foote on the side of me holding up the scoreboard. Como is actually on top of Nish right now, 20-14. Man. And I didn't mean to count my eggs, chicken before they hatch, but the Spartans hadn't won a game in 2.5 years.
I mean, we could probably, if we listed outside, we could probably hear that game where we are.
Kickoff is underway, and Eddie Hernandez drills another one out the back of the end zone. So the Cougars will have it 1st and 10, ball at the 20 to start the second half. Beautiful night here at Cougar Stadium. It is absolutely packed on both sides, actually to the point where they have a few fans lined up around, behind the fence there, behind the end zone. So beautiful night for football. We are happy to be back 14 years later, and it's been a great one so far.
It is very bizarre to cover an STM game and not see them just flinging it all over the field and throwing it for 100 or 200 or 300 yards. It's a very different St. Thomas More Cougar team.
Two receivers to the far side, two running backs on the side. Bergeron takes the snap, handoff up the middle. Gonna get a gain of only one, so a great job by the front line of the Turks there to hold them. Let's see here, it's gonna be 2nd and 9. Ball is going to be placed at the 21-yard line.
If you can keep them one of those long down and distance right and give them to pass the ball, that's where you want it.
Going quick, another handoff, trying to turn the corner, and he does. But a great tackle right there. There was a second where we thought he was going to turn that corner, but there's Keeman Thibodeau. We've been calling his name all year long, and we're going to continue to do so. That's a big loss, and the Cougars are going to be looking at 3rd and 13.
Yeah, Keeman's putting together a nice senior season so far early in this season, making plays all over the field on defense and on special teams right there. A nice tackle from Thibodeau to keep STM in 3rd and long.
I'm expecting to see STM take some sort of a shot here, maybe a crossing route across the middle. Let's see. Two receivers far side, one near side. Takes the handoff, throws far side, trying to bring him down, and he does! That's The little brother, but he ain't so little. Number 87, Darius McKinley with his 5th sack of the season.
Yeah, just a great play there, busting through the line and really containing him, not letting him get outside and dragging him down for the sack. So sacks are usually all about will, and that was just a great play from Darius McKinley to bring him down. And now you're getting the ball. You know, the way things have gone, you keep it on the ground. You really want to punch it in and kind of put some pressure on this STM team.
I want to remind the folks at home, Acadiana does have a block punt this year against Ruston in pretty much the same spot. Let's see if they choose to get after it. Snap is good. Kick is up. Ooh. Kick is away. It is a low one. It's going to take a bounce at about the 35, the 40, and it will roll out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. So a pretty good punt right there is going to set Acadiana back a little bit further than we thought. But nonetheless, 1st and 10 for the Wreckin Rams on their side of the field.
Yeah, the Cougars got a fortuitous bounce there
on
the punt, and really it bounced almost like the 40-yard line and just kept on going 9 more yards. But still, starting it on the plus side of the field, you've seen what the Veer machine's been able to do so far in the first half. I would expect a heavy dose of running the football here, controlling the clock, controlling the game, and getting big chunks of yards.
Big drive right here. If Acadiana can find their way into the end zone, you go up 2 scores in the second half against the number 1 team in 4A. 1 receiver each side. Snap. Handoff. No, he's going to keep it himself. Caden the Bell breaks through tackles, and he's still running. A great job right there by the quarterback. Going to be a gain of, let's call it 6 or 7, looking at 2nd and 3.
Yeah, nice effort from Caden there to just keep those legs moving and picking up yards, not being brought down by that first hit, by that second hit, really keeping it moving. And a nice play there played by the quarterback.
It's going to be, they're going to call it a gain of 6. It's going to be 2nd and 4, ball at the 43-yard line, 9:50 left to go in the third quarter. 1 receiver to each side. Snap, handoff. That's Goche. Breaks the tackle. Breaks. Not able to avoid the shoestring tackle, but nonetheless enough to move the sticks. Another Wreckin Ram first down.
Did look like he had that open field in the middle of him, and he might have had a chance to go a really long way, but still a nice couple of plays, nice sequence there to start this drive for Acadiana, already across the 35 into the blue zone. Kelly would call it.
1st and 10, ball at the 34. Rams hold a 10-7 lead. 1 receiver each side. Handoff up the middle, pushing that pile. I'll tell you what, that's an impressive run. Going to be a gain of about 4. Rams will be looking at a 2nd and 6.
It's all about falling forward. That's what that was. It just kind of fell forward for 4 yards. You can do that. You can keep on just gaining 4 yards at a time and move the sticks. So nice play by Tatum there to get the drive started.
That's the thing about the Veer. You can shut it down in the first half, but it wears on you when you get closer to the 3rd and 4th quarters.
That's right.
I think that's in the back of Matt McCullough's mind right now. 2nd and 6. 2nd and 7, ball at the 31-yard line. 1 receiver each side. Snap. Handoffs to Goche. Let's see how much they give him. He gets kind of piled up there. They're going to call it a gain of 2. Acadiana's going to be looking at a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I would still expect him to stay on the ground here. This is not one of those times where you need to take a shot. Just keep on running the ball. I know the STM crowd's kind of getting into it, and you're in that no man's land area where if you don't get it, you're not going to be able to kick. But I would still say just go for it. You're probably in 4-down territory nonetheless.
I agree with that. Again, we want to thank our cameraman tonight, my brother-in-law Blaze Malonso, doing the camera work. Acadiana looking at a big 3rd and 5. Handoff. No, DeBetta's going to keep it and try to find the outside corner. He's not going to find the stick, though. He does get a gain of 3 or 4. Let's see where they spot him. I believe it was 4-down territory all the way. They're going to call him short from about 2 yards. Acadiana's going to be looking at a 4th and 2.
And this home crowd is about to get into it. They're about to get loud. They got their cowbells. They're ready to go. Acadiana just has to stay calm and do what it's done all night long. Get your 2, get your 3 yards, get this first down, and move those chains.
I'm not used to seeing opposing teams with cowbells. I'm used to seeing it on the Wreckin Rams sideline. Had to get a good laugh out of that one. 4th and 2. DeBetta under center. Hard count. Looks to the sideline. Matt McCullough calls to play. Handoff up the middles to Goche, and he's going to have enough for a Wreckin Ram first down. The pit bull got that dog in him.
It really is amazing that you know what's coming and you can't stop it. Like the whole stadium knew what was coming. That's been Acadiana football for 2 decades. You know it's coming and you can't stop it. It truly is unbelievable.
Well, I mean, that's been the Veer machine is a run-first offense. It always will be, and the reason is because running the football wins games. We talked about it at halftime. 1st and 10 Rams. Ball at the 23-yard line. 7:40 left to go in the 3rd. Handoff up the middle, moving those feet. An impressive run up the middle right there. They're going to give them a gain of, let's call it 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7. Ball at the 20.
Cole, we haven't seen Parker Bruno since he had the fumble. I wonder if they're going to use him because it would be nice to give him some confidence, right? Yeah, you fumbled the football, and it's been an issue for him, but it'd be nice for him to get a few runs. You've seen that was Tatum there who got the run there. Obviously, Jonah is giving you some nice runs, but I would like to see Parker Bruno kind of get in there and give us
Let me play devil's advocate. A chance you see Russell Babineau in the backfield at some point?
Of course. There's a chance to see him everywhere on the field.
2nd and 7, ball at the 20. One receiver to each side. DeBetta barking at his line. Snap, handoff to Goche. Not able to keep his feet at the line of scrimmage. He will dive forward for a gain of 2. It's going to be 3rd and 5. Ball is going to be at the 18.
Clock is moving. Acadiana has not changed the game plan at all. They're doing exactly what they did in the first half, and maybe it's an opportunity to put the ball in the air. I don't know. I mean, they've kept it on the ground all this half. They haven't done that at all. I mean, eventually you're going to have to see what you got and try to make something happen. If you can't, you don't get this first down.
I think this is 4-down territory. I expect them to run the ball, and if the run's not effective, then maybe pass, because I think we're going forward or 4th down either way. One receiver to each side. DeBetta under center. Takes the snap. He runs the option. Falling backwards. Breaks a tackle, though. Breaks another tackle. But he will lose a hefty chunk of yards. And I'm going to tell you now, Nick, I said 4th down territory, but I think you're going to kick the field goal right here.
Yeah, you lost enough yards to where it kind of makes it a tough decision to go for it. It does like the kick teams on the way. So, I mean, this could be a very long field goal for Eddie Hernandez. Obviously, he has the leg. He's able to boot him into the end zone. But, I mean, is he able to give you what would eventually be a 40-yard field goal?
They're going to take a hydration timeout, but before we go to timeout, just that option play didn't look right from the jump. It's like Caden took the snap and just kept fading back instead of attacking the ends. It almost looked like he was going to drop back to pass in some sort of way. Very confused about that, but nonetheless, it's going to be a loss of 4, and Acadiana's going to be facing a 4th and 9. Like I mentioned, you talked about you want to see what you got. And Eddie Hernandez is no exception. In my head, let's go ahead and kick this field goal and see exactly what you have in your kicker.
Exactly. He kicked the first. You got the first points on the board when he kicked the field goal in the first quarter, but that was about a 30-yarder, maybe inside of the 30-yard line. So, I mean, this is a legitimate field goal, right? This is where you see what you have. Do you have a weapon? Will you be able to use this kid when it comes down to those big games in the postseason and you're playing a tough game and you need 3 points? Does Eddie Hernandez have the leg and have the accuracy to give you what you need? So this is a great test for him to see what you got. He's improved so much over last year. It would be great for him to get this one.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be about a 40-yarder. John Malbrew is down on the field to hold. Keep in mind, folks, he is the backup holder. Ty Lambertina, the normal holder, is on a trip in Carolina. Best of luck to him. Lining up to kick is Eddie Hernandez. Let's see what the young man has in that foot. Snap is good. Kick is up. Kick is good. And Eddie Hernandez with the 40-yarder. And it's been a couple of years since Aiden Richard kicked that we've seen somebody kick the ball like that. So Acadiana's going to take a 13-7 lead here in the 3rd quarter with 5:55 remaining.
Cole, he doesn't hit that field goal last year. I mean, he just didn't have it. He didn't have either the confidence or the leg to hit that field goal last year, and you can tell he's been working on it in the offseason, and now he has it. So now you'll be able to trust him with at least a 40-yard field goal, right? He got it done, and arguably was the biggest game of the young season so far for the Wreckin Rams, and he knocks it right through the uprights. Really happy for Eddie Hernandez to get that kick.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nick. I did not have the Rams kicking 2 field goals on my bingo card before tonight, so but a great job right there by Eddie Hernandez. And just gives him some confidence because, when you get into the playoffs a little bit deeper, you're gonna need some kicking game, and you're gonna need some field goals, and you want somebody that's gonna get it done for you. And Eddie Hernandez looking really strong right now, and he's back on the field to kick off to the STM Cougars.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about Acadiana dominating this game, but the bottom line is they haven't been able to get it in the end zone very much. So having a weapon like Hernandez to be able to put points on the board allows you to put a little bit of distance between you and the Cougars, because regardless of what we're saying about what was going on the field, STM's only 1 score behind in this football game.
And a credit to STM's defense for standing tall right there. A little bend, don't break. And very impressed with what the Cougars have done tonight on the defensive side of the ball. Here's your kickoff, Eddie Hernandez. This one is going to be popped up and playable. Ball is taken in at the 6. This is Carter Maloso looking for the near sideline, and he found it. Going to come around the 40. Let's see where they spot him. That's a great return. They're going to spot them at the 40, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Well, we'll give Eddie a pass on that for not getting into the end zone. He used all of his, most of his power to kick that 40-yarder. So we'll give him a pass, and he'll get into the next one in the end zone, I'm sure.
5:45 left to go in the third quarter. Your Wreckin Rams lead the STM Cougars 13-7.
It just feels like this game should be a 2 or 3 score game, and yet here the Cougars are hanging around down by 1 score with the ball. I mean, they're just in the game. You want to try to put them away.
2 receivers far side. 3-step drop, looks far side, throws it on a little out route, but he misses his intended receiver. And we've seen that a lot tonight, just not able to connect with his receivers on those out routes.
The receivers are there. The play call is right, and Bergeron just not as crisp as you'd want him to be trying those throws. So, that's why I think they've had a lot of success on the ground, and they're more inclined to keep it on the ground because Bergeron just hasn't been able to connect on those passes.
Cade Wilkerson, the intended receiver, 2 receivers far side. Going to look far side again, but this time it's a quick slant. He finds Wilkerson, and he's still running a strong yards after catch right there. And that's going to be a gain of 20 to 25. Let's call it 25, and another Cougar first down.
I mean, STM's going to keep throwing it, right? I mean, he might be off on 3 or 4 in a row, but they're going to keep passing the ball, and right there he's very effective.
Going quick right here, 1 receiver each side. Snap, handoff, trying to turn the corner near side, and he does, but he gets tripped up. Ball's on the ground. The ball's on the ground. Let's see if they mark him down, and they do. Referee's marking him down. There is a flag also on the field, so we're going to have to see what the call is. And it's in the vicinity of a hold, so let's see.
It did look to me that the ground caused the fumble. I mean, he
I agree
put the
with
ball right on the ground, and so it wasn't going to be a Acadiana ball nonetheless, but it is a hold, Cole. It's against the Cougars.
Holding on the Cougars will back him up. And I agree with that, Nick. I also thought that the ball was on the ground. But it's high school football, and you don't have replay, so you got to wait to see what that call is.
The St. Thomas More running back, Gabe Mosick, he's impressive. I mean, he gets the football. He does some special things, and he's very patient running back, finds the lane, finds where the ball needs to go, and picks up some big gains for the Cougars.
Between Mosick and Melanson, that's been the 2 guys they want involved all night long, because we've called Carter Melanson's name all night tonight.
Right.
Not as big as a running back, but very explosive, and that's why he's fielding the punts and the kicks for STM.
That's the difference between the two, right? Melanson is more of a smaller kind of outside back, and Mosick can really get it inside and get you some big yards.
1st and 10. Excuse me. They didn't reset the clock. 1st and 24. Drops back, throws it across the field.
Nice.
What a great job of tackling right when it's caught. Let's see who that was on the far side. That's Dalen Lewis. So it is a completion, but Dalen Lewis brings him down right after. It's going to be 2nd and 22. Ball is at the 49-yard line.
We've called Keeman Thibodeau's name a lot, but Dalen Lewis has also had a nice game today and a pretty good start to this 2024 season.
Just so many, upperclassmen, that just so many leaders on this team. Snap, looks back to pass, throws across the middle, it's complete. Going to be taken down by Braylon Noel, but it is a big gain.
14 yards for 12.
Going to be a gain of 14, still short of the first down marker. Let's see who that was on the catch. That was wide receiver Parker Castile.
This hurry-up offense has been very effective on this drive for STM. That intermediate passing game has really worked for them.
3rd and 7. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side. Drops back to pass, throws across the middle. No flags. Great coverage. I tell you what, the receiver there, Nick, got hung up with the corner, and the entire sideline was expecting a flag, but there was none, and STM's going to be facing a 4th and 7.
I mean, if he throws the flag there, you kind of can't really argue with it, but nonetheless, we'll take the break. It seems like Acadiana's got a couple of breaks in this game from the officials that have really gone their way.
I didn't see it.
Seemed like Braylon Noel on the coverage, and STM's going for it. Hard count, nobody moving. Bergeron looks to the sideline for a call. 2 receivers currently near side, 1 to the far side. Again, this is a 4th and 7. Snap, 3-step drop looking near side, throws it near side, it's picked off! Across the 40, across the 50, he cuts it back up. This is Dalen Lewis, cuts it back near side, and he'll be tackled at about the 29-yard line. So Dalen Lewis shows up once again on this drive, and Acadiana with another big defensive play.
I didn't understand going for it on the STM side. I don't know why they went for it, but nonetheless they did. And with the way that Bergeron has been throwing the ball, just, he had a little bit of success on that drive, but those out routes haven't really been there. And Dalen Lewis just stayed there and jumped it and was able to make a nice play. I thought he had a chance to score, but nonetheless, with all the moves he had to make coming back, and then the STM defender knocked it down. But a great play from Dalen Lewis. We called his name a lot on that drive, and he made a nice little interception.
Not to state the obvious, you have to find a way to put the ball in the end zone right here. Acadiana leading 13-7. Here's a snap, handoff to Goche up the middle, falls forward for a gain of, let's call it 2. It's going to be 2nd and 8.
I think right now Acadiana is going to do a little bit of clock control, a little bit of game control, keep the ball on the ground and just slug it out and get yourself into the end zone. But Cole, I absolutely agree. This drive has to end with a touchdown starting on the 29-yard line. There's no way you can settle for 3 and expect to win games down the road. You're going to have to be able to punch it in when they give you an opportunity like this.
For those of you at home who didn't watch the first half, keep in mind this terrible Turk defense has not allowed a touchdown yet to STM. The points coming off of a scoop and score from the Cougar defense. 2nd and 8. One receiver to each side of the formation. DeBetta under center takes the snap, hands it off to Goche up the middle, breaks the tackle, and he does have enough for a Wreckin Ram first down. The Pitbull with another great carry.
Yeah, a couple of nice moves there to get you enough for the first down. And again, there's no need to panic. There's no need to stop what the game plan is. The game plan is working. I mean, it's just keeping the ball on the ground and moving it. There's no reason to switch it up, and so I don't expect them to right here. They're having a lot of success with Goche running the ball.
1st and 10, ball at the 18-yard line. 3:15 left to go in the third quarter. Handoff. This is to Tayden Collins, trying to turn the outside corner, not able to do so. They'll give him a gain of 1, but it's going to be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, I mean, this game is just turned into an old-school Acadiana game. We're not really expecting them to do much but what they do, and they just run it over and over again, and it's very difficult to stop. So that play from Collins, while it didn't get you a big gain, it gained 2 yards, right? It's like every play gains you positive yards and gets you closer to that end zone.
2nd and 9, ball at the 17. 2:40 left to go in the third quarter. Acadiana leading 13-7. One receiver to each side of the formation. Timeout down on the field, going to be taken by Acadiana, and we're going to take a timeout with them. But please stick around for more Wreckin Ram Productions here on YouTube.
Yeah, 5:55.
2:30 left to go in the third quarter. Your Rams lead 13-7. 2nd and 9, ball at the 17-yard line. Takes the handoff. DeBetta's rolling far side. Looking, pulls up. He throws it to the end zone.
Wow.
Let's see if he's in bounds. They're going to call him out of bounds. What a great throw by DeBetta. The wide receiver just not able to keep his feet in bounds. I don't have a number. I don't believe that's Russell Babineau, though. Checking my sheet here.
I think it is, Cole.
It was. It just, he has his jersey rolled up. So Russell Babineau not able to keep his feet in bounds right there, and the Rams are going to be facing a 3rd and 9.
I don't mind that play call, though. Kind of take a shot there. You're kind of in that area where you think you can make that play, and it was a nice throw from DeBetta. They just didn't get it done. So let's see what the play is. I see him running it in.
9 seconds on the play clock. They got to break the huddle quick. 5, 4, 3. DeBetta takes the snap. Hands off. No, he's going to keep it himself. Breaks a tackle. Going to get a gain of, let's call it 5.
Looks like the ball's on the ground.
Going to get a gain of 5. At least that's where the 4 judge is marking him. It's going to be 4th and a couple. I mean, Nick, you go for it here, or you take the points and you go ahead by 2 scores?
I want to go for it. I mean, I'm not going to say that's what they're going to do. Maybe they take the points, but I'm going for it. I want to get a touchdown.
Here's my argument for taking the points is exactly what I said. It'd be a 2-score game. So I don't mind if Matt decides to take the points, but it does look
they're going for it.
No, they're going to go ahead and kick the field goal. So here we go. John Malbrew to hold. Eddie Hernandez on to kick, and this is potentially his 3rd field goal of the night. Going to be a 29-yard kick here. Play clock down to 0, and they're going to call a delay of game on the Rams. I'd be surprised to see them take the kicking team off the field, especially with him just kicking a 40-yarder not too long ago.
Yeah, he's got the ability to knock it in from at least 40. This is only going to make it a 34-yarder. So still, it's a penalty that you don't want. I mean, 34 is a lot tougher than 29. You'd like to get that 5 yards back, but nonetheless, I think Eddie's got enough leg to get it.
And again, this is a backup holder. Maybe Ty would have saw the play clock nonetheless. John Malbrew to hold. Eddie Hernandez to kick. Snap is good. Kick is up. Kick is blocked. Kick is blocked. Kick is blocked, so a credit to the Cougar special teams as they don't allow the Rams to take a 2-score lead. So with 1:14 left to go in the 3rd quarter, Acadiana 13, STM 7.
Cole, you can't put this team away. I mean, you are dominating the game. STM is doing nothing offensively. The touchdown is off of a scoop and score from the defense. The offense has not been able to move the football at all. Acadiana has dominated every facet of the game, and yet you can't put them away. STM once again has the ball down, only 1 score, with a chance to drive and take the lead. If you continue to let them hang around it, it's going to come back to bite you in this game.
1st and 10, ball at the 27. 1 receiver to each side of the formation and 1 running back to each side of Bergeron. Handoff up the middle. Still trying to push that pile. He's only going to get a gain of a couple. Looks like it'll be 2nd and 7. That was Fauché on the carry.
Yeah, the clock is moving as we head towards the 4th quarter. But again, STM is just, when they keep it on the ground, it's almost like Acadiana. They're just getting those positive yards. You want to force them into those plays where they have to pass it.
2 receivers near side, 1 receiver far side, 2 running backs on each side of Bergeron. 45 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Takes the snap, takes the handoff, throws it across the middle, and he well over the head of his intended receiver. And that's just another example of Bergeron just not being on the same page with his receivers tonight.
It's just not there tonight for him. I mean, you hate to see it for the kid like that, but it's just tough. He's not anywhere close to his receivers, especially on the outside. The balls are either overthrown or just underthrown, or either way, it's not there when they try to get those big chunks for the Cougars, and they keep going to their credit, but he's just not on right now.
He was looking for Aiden Falgu, his big tight end, so it's going to be 3rd and 8. Terrible Turk's got to hold tough. Quarterback's going to roll out, looking, throws down the field, and it's over the head of his intended receiver once again.
And you can see the STM receivers are starting to get frustrated, and that's what you don't want, right? When his teammates start losing confidence in him, that's when the whole team kind of affects the whole team. And you keep putting Bergeron in these positions to make those passes, and they're just not happening for him. And you can see how the whole offense is kind of frustrated walking off the field right
Parker
now.
Castile was in the intended receiver, but I got to say this, Nick. Bergeron had a lot of room if he wanted to tuck it and get the 1st down, but opted not to do that. Now the Cougars will have to punt. Curious to see if they want to punt it to Colin DeBetta, though. We know how electric he is back there. Snap is a good one. Kick is up, and it's away. Colin's going to let it bounce, and it gets a huge Cougar bounce. They're going to down this one at about the 14-yard line, and man, oh man, they just continue to keep flipping the field.
Yeah, Cole, it's like we keep saying, you're allowing the Cougars to hang around in this game, despite the fact that they have done nothing offensively. They're only down 1 score. Somehow you got to try to put this game away and get up 2 scores. I agree with your point earlier where you were like they had to kick the field goal to get the points, but then it gets blocked. Like for whatever reason, they just can't do it. And Acadiana's dominating, and you look at the scoreboard, and it just doesn't show up on the scoreboard. So this drive could be big. We've seen Acadiana do these classic 75, 80 yards drives. It'd be nice to get one right here.
Acadiana's going to have to find a way to get the ball back on their side of the field, because you definitely don't want to give it to the Cougars. Here you go, handoff up the middle. Goche trying to push that pile. Got to hang on to the football. Going to give them a gain of 1, maybe 2, and credit to STM's defensive line. They have found a way to just clog it up enough to not let anybody break through. other than, a very slim, amount of time.
It's been very impressive to watch them kind of have an answer for what Acadiana usually does, where teams most times don't have an answer for it. The STM defense has tonight.
Here we go, folks. That's going to be the end of your third quarter. Go ahead and put your fours up. It's time to put up or shut up. Wreckin Rams 13, STM 7. We'll take a quick timeout, but stick around for the finale of this game. Wreckin Ram Productions on YouTube. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, back here at Cougar Stadium for the start of your fourth quarter. 2nd and 8, ball at the 16-yard line. Acadiana holding a 13-7 lead. One receiver to each side of the formation. DeBetta under center. Handoff on a sweeps to Goche, trying to turn the outer corner. He does. I think he got tackled just shy of the first down. It depends where they spot him, but it does look like it'll be a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be a nice play from Goche. Goche over 140 yards rushing in this game so far. The Acadiana offense with almost 250 yards. STM's offense under 100.
Horse collar against the Cougars, though, is going to move the sticks, so Acadiana gets a break right there. And we talk about it all the time. Got to take advantage when those advantages go your way.
Yeah, you started this drive deep in the STM territory. You're trying to figure out a way to get it into positive field position. Goche gives you a nice run. You get the benefit of a horse collar here. You got to just kind of work that clock and get it in the end zone.
1st and 10, Rams ball at the 38-yard line. One receiver to each side. Snap. Handoff is to Goche. No, that's Taden Collins trying to turn the corner. And there's going to be a flag thrown on the field. He will be given a gain of 1. It's going to be 2nd and 9, but it's in the area of holding. Let's see what the call is.
Cole, it looked like Collins looked inside, and I think if he takes the inside, he probably has a big gain in the middle. Instead, he chose to go outside, but I think it's going to come back.
And this is what we're talking about, Nick. You get calls that go your way, and then you give it right back, and that's something that we've seen. We saw it at Ruston. We're seeing it tonight. Not able to see last week's game because we weren't on the call, but I tell you what, it's just unfortunate. You got to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that's really going to keep this team from doing things that they want to do, which is head to the Superdome and have a chance to win a state championship. It's going to be beating themselves with mistakes and turnovers and penalties. The only touchdown for STM right now is a turnover, and these penalties keep putting them behind the sticks.
1st and 19, ball at the 29. Two receivers far side. Throws a screen. He was looking for Russell Babineau on like a little out route, but it was over, just not able to haul it in. And Acadiana's going to be looking at a 2nd and 19.
Yeah, I think if he actually looks upfield, he had number 17.
Carver
Swallow. Yeah, Swallow kind of open up if he goes up, but he was looking for Russell. I mean, I'd probably be looking for Russell too. It'd be a good little safety valve to have. But nonetheless, Swallow was open downfield. If he just looks up, probably has a big gain.
Parker Robichaux, senior wide receiver, bringing in the play. Again, Acadiana facing a 2nd and 19. 11-19 left to go in this ball game. Acadiana holding a 13-7 lead. One receiver to each side of the formation. Takes the snap handoff. That's to Taden Collins. Going to be a gain of only 2, and it's going to be 3rd and very long for the Rams. I'm surprised to see that play call.
Yeah, that was not the play that I thought they were going to run, and now you're at 3rd and long. It's just, you're making it difficult for you to do what you need to do to get this ball down the field with penalties and play calls like that. It's really become difficult.
An injured Ram down on the field. I can't see his number. He's lying on his back. It might be a cramp. I believe it is. Let me see. I think that's number 51.
71.
71? That's number 71, Robert Welch, down on the field. And he got up and he's walking off. So luckily no major injury there, but there is a timeout down on the field. We'll take a quick timeout with them. Stick around for the finale of this ball game. This is Wreckin Productions on YouTube.
Karen Go are tied at 47.
10:53 left to go in this ball game, and your Wreckin Rams are facing a 3rd and 17. Ball at the 31-yard line. Let's see what Matt McCullough has in his bag of tricks right here. One receiver to each side of the formation. Split back veer behind DeBetta. Snap is an option to the far side. DeBetta keeps it himself, and he's going to be brought down after a gain of maybe 3, and it's going to be 4th and long, and now I expect to see the punt team here.
DeBetta hasn't pitched it at all tonight on the option, and there were a couple times where it was the right call to keep it. I think on that one he needed to pitch it. I don't know if they'd have got the first down, but I think the right read was to pitch that ball. Instead he turns it up and doesn't get enough, and now they're going to punt the football. And once again, an opportunity to put this team away. STM gets the ball again, down only 1 score. I mean, it's unbelievable. They have under 100 yards of total offense, and yet right now they're getting the ball back with a chance to go down and maybe take the lead.
The great Kevin Foote right here on the side of us giving us some of these stats. The Terrible Turks able to hold this Cougar offense to under 100 yards is truly impressive. Snaps are good. The punt is actually a pretty good one. Going to take a nice bounce, but it takes a Cougar bounce, but a great job right there. Let's see who brought that in. That was 52. Brody Estes with enough awareness to catch that thing before it took too big of a bounce back. And the Cougars will have it 1st and 10. Ball will be at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Estes saved about 5, maybe 10 yards right there by downing it right there and not getting it back. So look, this is the strongest unit that we've had tonight is the Rams defense. They have allowed under 100 yards of total offense for the Cougars. But the Cougars are still in this game. You really want to get a stop right here, get the ball back in the offense's hands so we can put this game away.
10 minutes left to go in this ball game. 1st and 10, ball at the 35. 2 receivers to the far side of the formation. Bergeron looking to the sideline, and now he's directing his offensive line. 1 running back in the backfield. Tight end goes in motion. Here's the snap. Throw is across the middle. It's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That was number 11, Cade Wilkerson. They've gone his way a lot tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I guess credit to the offensive coordinators. They haven't lost confidence in their quarterback. I mean, the throws have been sporadic. They've been high. They've been over the heads. They've been underthrown, and they just keep pulling him back and let him throw it. I guess they want him to figure it out, but Acadiana hasn't been hurt by it so far.
2 receivers far side. Tight end goes in motion. Flags on the field. It might be false start, and it is. It's going to be false start against the Cougars. That'll back them up 5. I want to say that, well, before you go, I'm just going to say that was the most surprising thing, at least to me so far, is how much STM had success running the ball early in the year. We thought this was going to be a pretty run-heavy offense, and they have allowed Bergeron to throw it, at will at times. So
yeah, that's
the
exact point I was going to make. I mean, it's not really time to panic. You got 9 minutes, 53 seconds to go. You're only down by 1 score. You don't really have to air it out, and they haven't had any success with it. I'm surprised they're not running the football.
2 receivers to each side. Drops back to pass, looking deep, throws it down the field. He overthrows his intended receiver. Let's see who that was. That was number 7, John Barton. And, I mean, that's another name we've called a lot tonight. But, again, an example of just miscommunication between a quarterback and a wide receiver.
Yeah, it almost feels like this is some sort of 2-minute offense that they're trying to hurry up and get the ball down the field and throw it when you haven't had success throwing it at all. You've had a lot of success running the football. You have 2 dynamic running backs. I don't see why they're kind of in panic mode here trying to get the ball down the field so much.
2 receivers far side, 1 near side. And that's going to be encroachment against the Rams. Darius McKinley got a little too excited on that one, so he's going to get 5 yards back to the Cougars. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
Pre-snap penalties. I mean, they are biting you right now, and it's something that has to get cleaned up. I mean, we saw it in the Ruston game. We're seeing it again tonight. Pre-snap penalties and turnovers are why this game hasn't been put away.
2 receivers far side, 1 in the near side. 3rd and 10 for the Cougars. Snap, looking far side, looks back near side, trying to pull up, but he doesn't, and he's brought down. It's not going to be a sack. They're going to give him a gain of 1, but it's going to be 4th and 9, and a great job by the Terrible Turks to stop this Cougar offense.
Amarian Cooper with a great play to get the sack, and look, STM's going to drop back. It looks like that's what they've made their game plan in the second half. You might as well pin your ears back and go after it, and even though he gets a gain of 2, it's still a nice play for Cooper to bring him down.
STM's going to punt it right here, back deep. The dynamic Russell Babineau. I would love to see him get an opportunity. The punt is up. Great job by the punter to get that one off. And it takes a big Cougar bounce once again. They're going to have this ball down to the 2-yard line, Nick.
You hear the coaches in the booth next to us really needing Russell to grab that ball. I don't know if that would have been the right play to make, but nonetheless, the Cougars have downed him at the 2, and now you're 98 yards away from the end zone. And it's really difficult. It's been really difficult to do what you got to do to put this team away, man.
Not to make a joke, but I mean, I do want to show some love to the STM punter. I mean, he's got a lot of bounces that's gone their way tonight that has really kept Acadiana behind the 8 ball offensively. And I think what they were yelling about right there is you need Russell Babineau to call fair catch, field that thing, because if he does that, the ball would be at the 25-yard line and not at the 2.
Right. Well, STM has a lot of soccer play and success over here, so they got kids that can kick the ball.
Acadiana's got to go 98 yards to get in the end zone. Handoff up the middle. Breaks a tackle. What a run right there. Going to be a gain of 18 yards for a Wreckin Ram first down. That was Tayden Collins on the carry. Big TC right there.
Exactly what Collins needed, as they have an STM player down on the field, but exactly what Acadiana needed to get from their own end zone in their back. A nice 18-yard gain from Collins to put them right about the 20-yard line, 19-yard line.
Yeah, there is an STM lineman down on the field, and this one looks a little serious. They're grabbing at his knee right here. I'm not sure if it's a cramp. It looks like a little bit more than that. So while they're down on the field, we'll take a quick timeout as well. 8:54 left to go in this ball game. Your Wreckin Rams hold a 6-point lead, 13-7. Stick around for more Wreckin Ram Productions on YouTube. $8:54 left to go in this ball game. Your Wreckin Rams lead 13-7. 1st and 10, ball at the 19-yard line after that great run by Tayden Collins, who's been very effective tonight.
That's right. And, we keep talking about it's only a 1-score game, but they're only down by 6 points. I mean, you really have to do something on this drive. You do not want to give STM the ball back with a chance to come in and win this game.
1 receiver near side, split back veer behind the Beta. Snap, handoff. Up the middle, pushing that pile. Going to get a gain of 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7.
I'll say there's probably a little bit too much time on the clock, 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go to start controlling it. I don't think that's what you're trying to do. I think you're still trying to score. But again, STM is playing that bend, don't break defense. They've been playing it very well all night long, and they really have their team in a position to have an opportunity to get the ball back and go win the game. So Acadiana really needs to drive the ball down the field and get it in the end zone.
They actually gave him 4 on that carry, so call it 2nd and 6. Ball's going to be at the 23-yard line with 8:15 left to go in the ball game. Snap, handoff. Tayden Collins cuts it up the middle, and this is a big run, folks, across the 35 to about the 39-yard line, and TC with another big first down run for the Wreckin Rams.
This has been the Tayden Collins drive. They really relied on him on this drive so far. That's 2 big runs for Tayden Collins, and keeping those legs fresh, keeping the running backs rotated in and out, and everybody in the offensive the offensive running back room can really get the ball and move it in big chunks. You see Tatum Collins doing it right there on this drive.
Russell Babineau bringing in the play from the sideline. Clock runs with 7:45 left to go in the ball game. Again, your Wreckin Rams holding a 13-7 lead. Russell Babineau, near side. Split back veer behind DeBetta. Takes the snap, hands off to Goche. Goche falls forward, going to get a gain of 2, maybe 3. It looks like it's going to be 2nd and 7.
I do like the way Acadiana hasn't really swayed away from that game plan, right? It's been the same game plan and it's been very successful all night long. They have almost 300 yards of offense, probably at this point over 300 yards of all offense, just running the football, not doing a whole lot, not taking a lot of chances, and you see it being effective right there. You only get 3 yards, but it's 3 positive yards. Every play, it seems like Acadiana is getting positive yards and moving the chains and getting closer and closer to where you want to be.
7 minutes left to go in this ball game. 2nd and 8, ball's at the 41. Parker Robichaux, near side, split back veer behind DeBetta. Snap, handoff up the middle. That's Tatum Collins. Going to get a gain of, let's call it 4. Going to be 3rd and 4. Ball is going to be at the 45-yard line.
Collins has really had the hot hand on this drive, and it just shows you that both of these guys, Goche and Collins, either one of them you're going to be able to rely on. If one of them is maybe not feeling it on a specific game or a specific drive, either one of these guys can really carry the load for this Bear Machine offense.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Caden DeBetta keep this thing on a rollout and try to go for the stick. That's what I expect to see here, Nick. Let's see if it happens. One receiver near side. That's going to be Swallow. Handoff. DeBetta keeps it himself, trying to turn the corner. He gets his receiver to pick up a block. Does he have enough for the first down? Right at the stick. Oh, man, Nick, you can't get any closer than this.
They're moving it.
Listen, they're moving the stick. It's another Wreckin Ram first down. But all the credit on that play goes to Tatum Collins, who was able to pick up the defensive end enough for DeBetta to get enough for the first down.
That play doesn't happen without Collins' block. And, man, Collins is having himself a drive. Not only is he gaining yards with the football, but making that block right there and allowing DeBetta to get the first down.
Hydration timeout down on the field. That means we have 6 minutes left to go in this ball game. Acadiana leads 13-7. We'll take our last timeout, basically our last timeout. Stick around for more Wreckin Ram Productions on YouTube. Six minutes left to go in this ball game, folks. 1st and 10. Ball at the 49-yard line. Acadiana leading 13-7. Let's see if this Veer machine can pound out 6 minutes. We've seen it before, Nick. Takes the snap, handoff. That's Goche, ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground, and STM has it.
Wow.
They're marking him down, Nick. Head referee and the floor judge are both marking him down, and I'm very surprised to see that because I saw that ball out early.
Yeah. Well, the STM coaches are not letting it go for sure.
Acadiana gets another break.
It has been a defensive struggle of both teams just dominating. The defense that dominated.
I tell you what, like I said, I saw him lose the football at the line of scrimmage. If you're asking my opinion, and I'm as big as an Acadiana guy as anybody, that was a fumble.
Yeah.
But Acadiana gets a big break right there. They're going to call it a gain of 1, so it will be 2nd and 9. Ball at the 50. Line to gain is going to be the 41.
And look, the Wreckin Rams have gotten the benefit of a few calls in this game.
2nd and 9. One receiver near side. DeBetta under center takes the snap, handoff. Option. And he turns the corner. There goes Goche across the 40, across the 30, and that's where he'd be brought down. I'm going to tell you what, he fooled me. That was a great play fake by DeBetta. Pitched it out there to Jonah Goche, and the pit bull does his job and moves those chains.
DeBetta pitched it at the absolute last minute. That's what I do on on college football 25. At the last minute, as a guy's bringing me down, I'll pitch it. That's exactly what he pitched it at the last minute, and Goche took it around the side for a big
Watching the replay on the TV next to us, he was literally falling down as he pitched that football, but he was able to have enough body control right there to put it in the hands of Goche, and Goche was able to do the rest. Closing in on that red zone, and people are calling for it, Nick. They got to find a way to get in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's you have to get in the end zone. So looking for the words, that's what they are.
Handoff, Goche up the middle, there he goes! 15, 10, 5, he's down at the 1. Down at the 1 yard line. Heck of a job there by the Cougar defender not to give up on the play. And but nonetheless, 1st and goal, Wreckin Rams got a chance to punch it in the end zone and in this football game, Nick.
Beginning of this drive was all Taden Collins getting you those big chunks to get you out of your own end zone, and now at the end, relying on the workhorse. Jonah Goche now over 200 yards rushing in this game. Goche's just really been eating up those yards and got a big chunk right there down to the 1 yard line.
I tell you what, I would love to see TC get his number called right here and get in the end zone, because that young man has done a great job tonight. It doesn't look like the Rams will break the huddle. They'll be content to take a timeout with 1 second left to go on the play clock. So with 4:16 left to go in your ball game, 13-7 the Wreckin Rams lead, and they're on the doorstep of putting this one away, folks. Stick around for more Wreckin Ram Productions on YouTube. We're back, folks. 4:16 left to go in the ball game. 1st and goal, Rams, ball at the 1. Acadiana holds a 13-7 lead, looking to punch this in and put this game away. Handoff. No, it's not. It's a quarterback keeper. Caden DeBetta calls his own number. Did he get in? We're waiting to see. Still no signal down on the field. And now it is. It's a touchdown for the Wreckin Rams.
Well, by the hardest, they got that touchdown there. But, I mean, finally able to get a little bit of breathing room in this game where the Cougars were just hanging around by one score, hanging around with an opportunity. Every time you gave them the ball, they had an opportunity to drive the ball. And the STM defense has really played a fantastic game so far. But on that drive, you just saw classic Acadiana football. Running the ball, never really putting it in the air, and just driving the ball 98 yards for that touchdown.
And they were able to take all 4 minutes off the clock in that process. And Caden DeBetta calling his own number, keeping it himself, and it's 19-7 pending the extra point. Snap is good. Kick is up. Kick is drilled. So with 4:04 left to go in your ball game, Acadiana 20, STM 7. We'll go ahead and keep it here. And I said it before the break, Nick, but I was kind of hoping Taden would have got his number called because he had been such a large part of the game tonight. I would have liked to see him get in the end zone, but nonetheless, what is important is that Acadiana found the way to get in the end zone and put this game away by 2 scores.
I like what I saw on that drive where you used both running backs. You're going to have to rely on both of those guys this year, and we know that both of them are very talented. And so Collins kind of got that drive started with a couple of big gains on his own half, and then once you got across midfield, kind of turned it over to Goche, and he was able to get those big chunks to get you down there. That drive absolutely had to end with points. I mean, you couldn't continue to give the ball back to the Cougars and give them an opportunity to go down there and win the football game. Now you could kind of, I don't want to say relax, but you can play maybe a little back and kind of allow this Cougar offense to do what it's been doing, which hasn't been effective. I mean, under 100 yards so far. They've run less than 38 plays. Acadiana is pushing 70 plays offensively. I mean, that's the difference in the ball game is the offense of Acadiana has been able to control this game, and STM really hasn't been able to have any effective offense.
Eddie Hernandez on the kick. It's a low one. Call it a squib, taken in at the 20. across the 30, trying to cut back up. Won't do so. Be brought down at about the 33-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will have it, 1st and 10. Inside of 4 minutes left to go in this ball game, Acadiana leading 20-7. I'll tell you what, Nick, and we talked about it all night. Regardless of what the final score is, I've been extremely impressed with STM's defense tonight. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Before the game started, I thought, seeing what I saw through the first 2 weeks, I thought Acadiana would have a lot more success offensively. And STM's front line said, no, hold on a minute. Now, unfortunately, the offense hasn't been able to keep up, but that is, nothing against the defense. Great job tonight by the Cougars. Snap, 3-step drop looking far side, swings it to his big tight end. Going to be brought down at about the 40. Let's call it a gain of 4. It's going to be 2nd and 6. STM's going fast right here, but there is a Wreckin Ram down on the field.
Yeah, Cole, when it comes to that Acadiana Wreckin Ram offense, it wears you down. Exactly what we talked about. And STM defense has played great tonight. I mean, they really stepped up to the plate and got it done and forced Acadiana into some really tough situations. But at the end, the offense just wears you down. And I think that's what that last drive was, where eventually you're going to be able to bust those big plays. And for the whole game, you're getting 2 and 3 and 4 and those little bit of chunks. And then finally at the end of the game, when you've just been trying to stop it over and over again, Acadiana
70 plays later, exactly. 2nd and 5, ball at the 40. Clock is running, 3:30 left to go in the ball game. 2 receivers near side, 1 far side, looking near side, throws it across the middle of the field, and it's in and out of the hands of Dalen Lewis. Dalen Lewis was attempting to put the game away with his 2nd interception, but not able to hang on. But again, a heck of a job right there by the Terrible Turks to hang tough, and it's going to be 3rd and medium.
3 different Acadiana defenders had a chance to intercept that ball, and the ball just kind of sailed on Bergeron there, and Acadiana wasn't quite able to haul it in, but then again, great defense by Acadiana there.
3rd and 5, ball at the 40. 2 receivers to each side of the formation and 1 running back on the side of Bergeron. Turns, quick slant, and it's low of his receiver. It's going to be 4th down. Again, another example of Bergeron just not being on the same page as his receivers tonight.
Yeah, he's really struggled, and the STM offensive game plan has been to throw the football. And early in the first half, they were running it, and they had some success. And they put it in Bergeron's hands in the second half, and it just hasn't really been effective.
This could be a ball game right here, folks. 4th and 5. 3-step drop. Looking. It's a screen. It's a screen near side. Darius McKinley! The little brother that ain't so little, able to suck up the running back right there, and that's going to be a turnover on downs and potentially the ball game.
Darius McKinley, what a stud. What a great play there for McKinley to kind of not get fooled on that screen play and be there to make the play. You saw the coaches kind of go crazy in the booth next to us, and that was just a great play from McKinley.
That is such an athletic play by a defensive end to sniff out a screen pass and then basically hunt down the running back. That's an incredible play. But, I mean, this is a junior. He's a D1 athlete, Nick, and there's no doubt about it. And not only D1, I'm curious to see next year if he decides to go meet his big brother at LSU. We'll find out next year. But nonetheless, I mean, that kid looks like a freshman in college, not a junior in high school.
Yeah, he's a man amongst boys, and that was a very athletic play to make that stop.
1st and 10 Rams, ball at the 37-yard line. 1 receiver to the far side. Betta takes the snap, hands off to TC. Trying to push that pile. They'll give him a gain of 2. Tatum's just trying to fall down. But anyway, gain of 2, 2nd and 8, clock's running. Inside of 3 minutes, Acadiana holding that 20-7 lead.
Yeah, just get a first down, couple first downs, and put this game away. And man, it was a lot tougher than it needed to be. But it looks like Acadiana's going to come out ahead.
You hear the coaches yelling next to us, and it's because Tatum on that carry was just really trying to put his body on the ground and not able to do so. STM had him wrapped up pretty good. 2nd and 8, ball at the 35-yard line. 2:35 left to go in the game. 1 receiver far side, that's Colin Betta. I don't expect us to throw it, Nick, but there is such a big one-on-one opportunity. Takes the snap, hand off to Goche. Goche trying to turn that corner, hand checking with the guy, tries to cut back inside and does. Gonna get a gain of maybe 1. I don't think he got anything, Nick, and Acadiana's gonna be looking at a 3rd and 8.
It looks like STM might have called timeout there to stop the clock, so they're gonna give themselves a chance. It's 2 minutes and 13 seconds. You never know what could happen, but Acadiana is just gonna have to get a first down here in order to seal this game.
weird position on the field, Nick. And what I mean by that is after this play, let's say Acadiana doesn't get a first down or they're not near the first down. I'm curious to see what Matt opts to do. Do they opt to maybe punt and try to pin them a little deep, or do you take the chance and run the ball in the tip for the first down, or do you try for a field goal? I mean, there's so many options where you are on the field.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly know what Eddie Hernandez's range is. I know that he kicked it from 40, but if you can get maybe 5-8 more yards, maybe you have an opportunity to give Eddie maybe a 42, 43-yard field goal.
And I was thinking the same thing. If Acadiana could find a way to get just 5 more yards right here, you find a way to get to the 30, I think if you wanted to, being that you're up 2 scores, you can allow Eddie to make a long field goal opportunity, but we'll see. 2:13 left to go in your ball game. Your Wreckin Rams lead 20-7. 3rd and 8. Ball on the 35-yard line. Kevin Foote with a great point right there, saying that you don't want to risk a block punt and a return on a touchdown. That's absolutely true. So with that in mind, 4-down territory, just run the ball and take your lick.
Just trying to knock seconds off that clock, get closer to zeros, and STM does have 2 timeouts. So you really want a first down to seal this game.
Third and 8. Wide receiver in tight, handoff. No, it's a keeper by DeBetta, and he slides down at about the 30-yard line. So Acadiana going to be short of the first down. It's going to be 4th and about 2 or 3. But a little trickery right there by DeBetta, faking that handoff, turning the corner, and getting 5.
Yeah. I think Acadiana might have got hosed on the spot there.
Look at this spot. They're going to mark him about 3 yards shorter than we originally thought. Nick, I'm not joking. He slid down at the 30, and they marked him down at the 32.
Yeah, they lost about 3 yards on that spot. But Acadiana's been fortuitous on a few calls and a few plays, so we can maybe give up 3 yards for some of the stuff that we've been.
I just gotta laugh every time I hear the coaches next to us go crazy. But to their point, do think it's a poor spot. Nonetheless, 4th and 5, and let's see what Matt wants to do. I expect him to keep it on the ground.
Well, you'd really have liked to get a first down there to kind of seal this game. Now, you have a decision to make. Whatever the decision is, running the football or passing the football, whatever the case, it seems like STM's probably going to get the ball back unless you pick up this 6 yards here.
So 4th and 5, ball at the 32-yard line, 2:07 left in the ball game. Snap. Caden DeBetta keeps it himself, not able to turn the corner, and it will be a turnover on downs. They'll give him a yard, but it won't matter, and the Cougars will take over 1st and 10 with under 2 minutes left to go.
Minute 58 to go with 1 timeout STM has. They're going to get the ball back, and with the way the Cougar offense has gone tonight, it doesn't really seem like they're going to be able to move the football effectively down the field, but you never know. The offensive coordinator has not lost confidence in Bergeron. He's continuing to let him throw the ball, and maybe eventually he'll start connecting on some of these long passes.
Acadiana with 5 defensive backs on the field now. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the far side. Snap, looking near far side, Ball is complete, and he breaks 2 tackles, breaks 3 tackles. He's across the 40, across the 30, and knocked out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. And that's exactly what you cannot do, is allow big chunk plays late in the ball game.
Yeah, the intermediate passing yards has been there for STM tonight. They've been able to kind of go, right where that ball was thrown, and then the big yak yards. Missed tackles, like we've talked about, 2 missed tackles on that play, and that allowed STM to get up the field.
STM going quick now. Snap. Rolls near side, looking, throws it to the sideline. It's caught 20, 15, brought down on about the 12, and it's another Cougar first down.
Yeah, the Cougars haven't given up, and look, Bergeron hasn't been effective up until this point, but right now he's made 2 big plays. They've got 2 big chunks there, and right now they're in the red zone.
1st and 10. Ball at the 13-yard line. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. Snap, looking far side, looking near side now. Keep it himself. Going to be tackled. That's Dominic McKinley on the tackle. Going to give him a gain of 1. It's going to be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, you saw McKinley kind of get off that block and just make a great play to stop him right there. He had a big gain, but not for McKinley to stop him and stop his progress.
Darius McKinley right there. 3-step drop, looking. Throws it across the middle. It's complete. Ball is down at the 1. That's their big tight end Falgood, but they mark him short of the touchdown. But nonetheless, it'll be 1st and 10. Clock's moving, under a minute left in this ball game.
Yeah, I don't know why the clock kept going, because it is a first down. It should have about a minute 2 left on the clock there.
STM got to find a way to get this ball off, and they do. Looking near side. Quarterback keeps it himself. He's going to be sacked. Not sure what Bergeron was waiting for right there, but he is sacked. He's brought down by number 3 outside linebacker Keldrick Francis.
Yeah, nice play by Francis to bring him down. Very athletic move. So you got two very athletic plays right there. One from McKinley and one from Francis to kind of keep STM out of that end zone.
40 seconds left in this ball game, but STM's going to burn a timeout. We'll take one last timeout with them. Acadiana leading 20-7. Stick around for the finale of this one on Wreckin' Ram Productions. Back. 40 seconds left to go in this ball game, folks. 2nd and goal. Bergeron takes the snap, looking far side, throws it far side, just wide of his intended receiver. He was looking for Cade Wilkerson right there once again. I mean, we've called his name so much tonight, just not able to hook up with him. It's going to be 3rd and goal, ball at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, we've called the names of the STM receivers because they're open. You know, Bergeron just has to find them in it. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to connect with them. But the receivers are running great routes and finding ways to get open. The passes just aren't there.
Looking down on the sideline, STM's coaches are livid, and there's a flag on the play. And they already have a sideline warning. This might be 5-yard penalty. Looking to see what the call is. There is a flag in the back corner of the end zone. STM was given a sideline warning earlier in this game.
Delay a game. Acadiana?
Delay a game on the Rams?
12 players in the field.
Oh, 12 players.
12 men on the field. I appreciate that. 12 men on the field, so they do call a delay a game against the Rams. Be half the distance. So 3rd and goal, ball at the 1.5-yard line. 18 seconds left on the play clock. 35 seconds left to go in your ball game. Bergeron takes a snap, looks, throws it across the middle, knocked away by Braylon Noel.
Great defense there from Noel. A lot pressure on the quarterback as well. He was uneasy in that pocket. He makes the throw, but Noel with a great breakaway there in the end zone.
So it's 4th and goal. 30 seconds left to go in the ball game. Again, ball at the 1.5-yard line. Surprised that they haven't tried to run the ball, especially with their big running back, Mosick. I mean, he's been.
Well, they're out of timeout, so if you try to run and stop them.
Here's the snap. Throws it far side. Nobody's there. Bergeron not able to hook up with his wide receivers once again, and that is how your ball game is going to end. 27 seconds left to go, and Acadiana holding on to that 13-point lead, 20-7, and your Red Rams look like they're moving to 2-1. And I mean, we talked about it, Nick. You ran through a gauntlet to start this season. You played the number 1 5A team in the state in Ruston. You played the number 3 5A team in the state in Zachary, and you played the number 1 4A team in the state in STM, and you found a way to come out of all of that 2-1. I mean, what a great job tonight by the Wreckin' Rams.
Yeah, that's what we asked for them to do, is come out 2-1, and that's what they did. And look, this game was a lot harder than it needed to be. I mean, they dominated in every way. They just couldn't find a way to put STM away until the end.
Snap, quarterback keeper pushing the pile, just got to fall down right here, really. Gain of 3. But the clock runs on, and that's your final play of the ball game. Acadiana going to move to 2-1 on the season. STM falls to 1-2, but I tell you what, folks, STM has a lot a lot to hang their hat on defensively, and I'm sure these Cougars will have a great season. But a lot of excitement back in Scott, Louisiana, with a big win tonight versus the number 1 team in 4A, and they'll be taking on the new Iberia Yellow Jackets next Thursday night at Bill Dotson Stadium.
Yeah, and they just picked up a win over Como tonight, so they're 3-0. But I mean, the scoreboard says 20-7, but it really feels like this game should have been the score should have been a lot more in favor of the Wreckin Rams, and they just couldn't quite put them away until that final drive there in the fourth quarter, where you saw the Rams go 98 yards and get that touchdown, and that really put the game away. But you would have liked to have seen them get some of those scores. They had an opportunity to kick the field goal that got blocked. They had a couple opportunities where they got into STM range, and then they turned the ball over on downs, or they had the fumble with Bruno that led to the touchdown. But the defense stepped up on both sides of the football. Credit to STM's defense for really stopping the Veer machine and doing what they had to do to keep them away until the end, where it just kind of wore them down. And the Acadiana defense just allowing nothing, under 100 yards of offense until that final drive, where they started giving up those big chunks, about 34 plays to Acadiana 70 plays. I mean, it really was the difference in the ball game. And so, it's a big win. Regardless of how you got it, you got the win. It wasn't pretty, but you count it. And like you said, those 3 teams that they started the season with to come out 2-1, that's about as good as you can ask for.
I mean, I got to make the joke, Nick. STM's offense has not scored against the Rams in 15 years. Acadiana, the 7 points that came from STM was on that scoop and score. Let's start with the Terrible Turks, dude. I mean, they played lights out defense tonight against the number 1 team in 4A. If you were going to tell me that Acadiana's defense would come on this field like they did in 2010 and hold that offense to nothing, I don't know if I would have believed you, Nick, but they did exactly that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many names that we called tonight. Dalen Lewis had a great game. Darius McKinley had an unbelievable game. A couple of sacks and some really athletic plays that really stopped STM from getting any momentum. We called Keeman Thibodeau's name a bunch. I mean, it was just an overall great defensive effort from the Terrible Turks. And I know that we're going to talk about the offense and we're going to talk about the rest of the team, but how about Eddie Hernandez? 2 huge field goals, including a 40-yarder. I don't know if that's his career long, but I think it is. I mean, we've pretty much watched his whole career. Right. I don't think he's made one longer than 40. So that just proves that you do have that weapon. You do have the ability to kick a longer field goal if the opportunity should present itself when you start playing those tougher games in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And I mean, let's turn the page to the Veer machine. Jonah Goche did what he always does. He gets you those tough yards. But how about Tayden Collins tonight? Really stepping up and filling the void, especially after Parker Bruno had that fumble. Didn't really see Parker for the rest of the game after that. But Tayden Collins came in. They said, you know what? We're going to give you the ball. Just be effective when you have it. And that's exactly what he did. But not only that, Nick, he was picking up blocks, on crucial plays that were allowing the Rams to move the sticks. And, I mean, that's exactly what you need from somebody who's not necessarily the bell cow of your offense, but he's a great feature back next to Jonah Goche.
Yeah, you're going to need these guys to be fresh. You're going to have to keep them fresh somehow. You're not going to be able to run Jonah Goche 35 to 40 times in a playoff game, right? You're going to need to spell him. And I think when they learned tonight that when they do spell him, Tayden Collins is going to be able to carry the load, especially on that final drive where the Rams drove at 98 yards. Collins started that drive off with 2 big plays to get him across midfield, and then Goche kind of closed it out, and they capped it off with the better touchdown. But yeah, the Veer machine was working tonight. Credit to STM's defense for not really giving up those big chunk plays until that final drive. But then the final drive was what you wanted to see, where Acadiana just wore them down by just getting those 3 yards, and then by the end of it, they were able to get those big chunks at the end.
Let me give some love to the big men. Got to give some love to the big men that put the Veer in gear, especially late in the game. Cavani Wilson, Brody Estes, Braxton Scriber, Robert Welch, Tayshawn Benjamin, Owen Carpenter, and the tight end, Jaden Bassard. I mean, listen, this offense is built to wear people down in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what happened. That long touchdown drive to put the game away was a thing of beauty. We made the joke, we saw it last year against Edna Carr when they ran 7.5 minutes off the clock to ice the game and send them to the Superdome. So we love to see those kind of drives. We love to see the Rams control the football, control the clock. You mentioned it earlier. They ran 70-plus plays versus STM's, 35 or 40? I mean, when you can control the clock to that extent, 9 times out of 10, or maybe 9.9 out of 10, you're winning that ball game.
Well, I'm just happy you got through this gauntlet 2-1. I mean, now you're on the other side of it. You're getting into district play, where you know what district play is, right? It's it's a 2 or 3 team race every year. Acadiana is right at the top of that. So you start to play some competition that doesn't really prepare you as well as you would like for the postseason. So that's why you do have to schedule a very top-heavy, out-of-district competition and these juggernaut teams up at the top. And to play these 3 teams, all 3 of them who played for a state championship last year, and to come out 2-1, I think it just says a lot about what this Acadiana Wreckin Ram team has the potential to do. And I think we all know what the potential is. They made it to the Dome last year. I think they want to do that again. And I think what we see with what we're seeing with this team, and maybe the Veer machine didn't run as effectively and smoothly as you wanted it to. But I tell you what, the offensive seniors, the seniors on the offensive line, the quarterback came to better, your running backs, your wide receivers, a lot of leadership, and they're very crisp, very smooth. They know the offense, and I think the sky's the limit for this team.
Well, again, a reminder, folks, we'll be back home next Thursday, not Friday, next Thursday against the New Iberia Yellow Jackets. Don't forget to tune in for some more Wreckin Ram productions. Me and Nick will be on the call back home at Bill Dotson Stadium. But again, your final here at Cougar Stadium. Acadiana comes away victorious against the STM Cougars, 20-7. You guys have a great weekend. And as always, once a Ram, always a Ram.